Oh gosh, I just realized I forgot to unmute again. Alright, so to reiterate, oh my god, how long did I go without unmuting my mic? 6 minutes? Are you kidding me? Okay. So, what basically today we will be going to Karma's route, and yeah, I'm really excited for it because I really like his story, the way they spun on his curse, I guess, which you'll be able to see if we make it there. And again, I don't think we will be able to finish his whole route today because I am on a stricter schedule today, but we will have another session on Friday. No, on Saturday for Cinderella Phenomenon, yes. So, if we don't finish it today, which is very likely, we will continue it on Saturday. Yes. But I mean, I hope we can get through as much as possible today, of course. I find Karma sitting quietly at the bar. I thought he was a picture of elegance when I saw him at the toy shop, but he's really just conceited. I walk over to where he is. Oh, Princess Lucette, you look stunning as always in your work clothing. You must be mocking me, but it does not matter. I'm here because I want you to teach me about goodness. Not even a compliment in return? I'm rather offended. Relax, Princess, I'm just teasing you. I noticed. Now can you answer my question? Princess, you do so wound me. This is going nowhere. Maybe I should ask someone else. Princess, wait. You made the right decision in coming to me for help, I assure you. The best people, Princess, look beautiful. The way you look outside has to match what you have inside. How is that supposed to help me? Are you implying that I'm not beautiful? Of course not. I only suggest that you smile more often. Smiling will not help me accomplish a good deed. And smiling has nothing to do with beauty. Well, that's incorrect. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's not true at all. People who are beautiful smile all the time. That's also not entirely true. Like myself. He's not helping at all. Don't give me that look, darling. A real smile lifts the heart and takes stress off the mind. And... well, in order to do good, you must first change yourself. Make yourself more beautiful on the outside and the inside. I really don't know why I came to him for advice. But what do I expect from such a flamboyant man? He is as shallow as a puddle of water. Hey, puddles can be deep, I guess. I stare in horror at the floor. Oh, it's the broom again. Great. Let's go to Karma again. I find Karma sitting at one of the tables, looking out a window. You're being quiet today? What a rare sight. Oh, Princess! Why would you be so surprised to see me? Because it is an honor every time you visit me. Have you come for my advice? I want you to tell me how to do a good deed. My, so straightforward. What is he talking about? It's really simple. You just do something without strings attached. No strings attached? Yes, you do something for someone without asking them to pay you back. It's hard to wrap my head around doing such a thing. Why would I do something without needing to? Have you done such a thing for someone before? Of course I have, Princess. That was a long pause. It was only a thoughtful one. Right. Is that all? I believe so. That tidbit of wisdom ought to serve you well. A month has passed and I have yet to complete even one good deed. Not for any lack of trying, though. I have been asking around for advice on how to be a good person, and receive various answers. Oh, this is part of the common route. Okay. Choices! Now we will be officially on Karma's route. A go! Secret practice. Save. I decided to go search for Karma as soon as I'm done with Mr. Broom. Or as soon as it is done with me. He should be sitting at the bar or at a table. I find him at the usual table, talking to Waltz, who has his hands on a box. Why, if it isn't the princess! Lovely morning, isn't it? It is the same as any other. Nonsense! Every morning brings new opportunities, right, Waltz? I guess so. Every day there's another chance for a good deed, princess. Right. No clever comments today, princess? I do so enjoy them. Maybe coming to Karma was a bad idea. I would love to stay and offer advice, but Watts and I better be off. We do have work to do. You mean that you're going to put me to work? Work? Parfait asked us to pick up some provisions for the tavern. She asked us, but in the end it will be me carrying everything. You'd make a lady carry everything? Karma suddenly stops and whirls to look at me with wide eyes. Oh! I cannot say that I like the glimmer in his eyes. How would you like to help, Princess Luzette? I'm sure this would count as one of your good deeds. I'm pretty sure that's not how this works. Oh, Watts, you're no fun. Helping Karma carry things does not sound pleasant, but I'll go. Truly? Oh my, Waltz, it seems I would not be requiring your assistance today. Princess, are you sure? Perhaps this might be considered good. Besides, I'll finally get to leave this place for the first time since I've been here. I am sure. Okay, take good care of the princess, Karma. Of course. For the rest of the day, Karma takes me to different shops around the town, reading off of a long list and giving me the coins to buy things. I notice that the townspeople treat me nicely when the two of us are together. I do not understand why everyone likes Miss Karma so much, but maybe it's because they do not really know him. We stop in the middle of the town and sit at a small cafe on the outskirts to take a break. Miss Karma is still a picture of elegance. Why do you dress like a woman? Darling, not so loud. Why is this even a secret? It's related to my curse. I mentioned that before, didn't I? What was her curse again? Karma was one of the only people at the tavern who did not share what his curse was. Is knowing my curse even so important? You know what my curse is, so tell me what yours is. You dragged me around town to help carry your things. But princess, those weren't even my things. They weren't mine either. Okay, I will tell you, though it is very sad. I do not think a curse is meant to be a happy thing. I have the beauty's curse. It is what forces people to fall in love with me every time they see my handsome face. Is that really a curse? That does not seem awful at all. Terrible, isn't it? It's terrible. Gasp. What? Most people don't agree with me. It does not make sense for a wish to cast a good curse on you. I mean, that's a good point. I guess it doesn't, does it? Thank you, Princess Luzette. Why is he thanking me? Still, it feels like I'm missing something. Is that really the entirety of his curse? But don't people fall in love with you when you are a woman as well? No, princess. That love is admiration or appreciation. Sometimes lust. And when you're a man? They swarm to me like moths to the light. It becomes suffocating. Whom does it affect? The curse only affects women. It is a condition of the curse that they be a woman and that I be a man. It's part of the fairy tale. Which fairy tale? The one with... Oh! Karma suddenly stands up and points at a man selling red, apple-like candies. He pulls me over, insisting that we try one. I try to bring up the subject of the curse again, but to no avail. Karma somehow manages to be distracted for the rest of the day and is able to effectively dodge my questions. Is Karma hiding something from me? Why would he? I thought pairing up meant helping each other break our curses. Does he not want to break his curse? Oh, thank you so much, Suzette. We are in dire need of these supplies. I supervised her well, didn't I? Of course, dear. He did not do anything. Princess, you wound me. Drink every time he says that. It's the truth. But we had that nice talk. You avoided half of my questions. Karma lets out an exasperated sigh that becomes a very forced yawn. I'm going to go to bed. Today has been a tiring day. Please excuse me, darlings. Sleep well. Sleep well, Karma. Karma walks away, leaving me alone with Parfait. He's not so bad, you know. I do not know why I agreed to work with him. Give him a chance, Suzette. I did not get a single good deed today. It's not just about the act, but about the intentions. Did Karma just use me then? I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. Tonight, I will rethink my partnership. I barely sleep that night. When I wake up the next day, my body is sore from carrying supplies around town yesterday. The more I think about Karma, the more my anger boils inside of me. How could I not have gone a good deed yesterday? I decided to find him first thing in the morning. I see him at his usual table, once again staring out the window. A dark aura seems to surround him, and I notice that no one is sitting with him today. Karma. He keeps staring outside. His eyes are glassy. Karma. Oh, Princess, good morning. It is far from a good morning. I did not sleep at all last night. What a shame. His voice is surprisingly cold, his tone rather dismissive. I was too busy thinking about yesterday. You told me that helping you would maybe help me complete a good deed. I point at my necklace, which hasn't changed at all since I received it. Do you see? Not another piece. You get pieces added to your glass slipper. That's charming. I was thinking that pairing up with you was a bad idea. Princess, did you just say that you were paired up with me? I did. You must have known. Oh my, I assumed that you just wanted to help me. I didn't know you were pairing up with anyone. That's right, I never told him directly I wanted to pair up. Should I have? Well, it does not matter what I say anymore, because I do not think you can help me. Princess, I can't help you do a good deed. You had to do them on your own. I can present you with opportunities, though. Opportunities? We start first by thawing the ice around your heart. So even Karma is calling me the Ice Princess. At least I speak my mind and don't pretend to be someone I am not. And I do not promise things I cannot deliver either. Princess, I do believe you misinterpreted my words yesterday. That is not my fault. Patience is a virtue. Now, if you could, I would like some time alone. I did not sleep well yesterday. Didn't sleep well? Oh dear, that makes all three of us. I turn around and see Rumple appear at the front door. He strides toward the table with a confident grin on his face and then takes another seat. Karma lets out a sigh. Foul man, what are you doing here? You flirt with a man once and he hates you, is that it? No, you flirt with a man and then you insult him unnecessarily. Oh, I thought it was all in good fun. Something about the expression on Rumple's face tells me that is not true at all. Are they always going to be at each other's throats now? What are you doing here, Rumple? I couldn't help but overhear that you were looking for a partner, Princess. I thought I might offer my assistance, since I know I can make you far happier than this fool over here. Would you like me to hit you again? What is the problem, sir? I only came to provide assistance where you could not. Rumple turns to me, grabs my hand, and winks at me. What do you say, Princess? We would be wonderful partners. In no time at all, I swear I would have your heart aflutter. I doubt it. Before I can slap his hand away, Karma slaps him instead. I cannot help the surprise on my face. Would you like another slap? I'm in no mood for pleasantries today. I don't know how I ever mistook you for a lady. You're the most brutish man here. A slap for each cheek, darling. Would you like a third? Rumple stands abruptly from the table and glares at Karma. I can almost see electricity bouncing between the two of them as they stare over my head at her. I do not condone violence, but Rumple kinda had it coming. I see Jiren walking toward us with a stern look on her face. I would never hurt a person unnecessarily. I don't resort to violence. My, then that gives me all the openings I need! No, we are not slapping Rumple again. Stand up for Rumple. No matter how annoying Rumple is, I don't think he deserves to be abused so much. Besides, Karma does not usually lash out like this. I moved to stand in front of Rumple. Princess? This is pathetic, Karma. I know you're not in the mood for pleasantries, but that's no excuse to hurt Rumple. Princess, please move. You're acting like a petulant child. Fine, you're right. I wasn't expecting you to do so easily admit to a mistake. I turned to Rumple. I was only standing up for you, Rumple, because Karma's annoying me. I looked down at my necklace, but there is no extra piece. Oh, so that wasn't a good deed either. Alright, what's happening over here? Jiren comes to stand in front of us, her expression stern. Oh, nothing, my sweet. I was just showing myself out. Thank you, Princess Lu said. Rumple leaves, and I'm alone with Karma. He slumps back down to his chair. After making sure that I won't do anything rash again, Jiren leaves us. I'm sorry, Princess. It appears I really was being a child. Rumple was harmless, and there is no reason for me to act as uncivilized as I did. What would Father think? Father? Oh, it's nothing. But please, if you would, can you give me some time alone? Fine. I leave Karma sitting there by himself, and return to the front of the tavern, where Anis has more chores waiting for me. Today I had to work as a server, which is still better than working with Mr. Broom. The usual people are at the tavern, and I overhear conversations as I work. At one point, Garland walks over to the bar, and Anis serves him a drink. He looks sullen, and I watch him curiously for a few moments. Then I notice I staring at Jiren, who is talking sternly to two drunken men continuously clacking their bottles together at the table. If you make too much of a scene here, you're going to bother the other customers. But then the same people are here all the time, eh? We're not bothering anyone, hon. Garin looks so agitated. What is wrong with him? I will not stand to have you call me that again. Loosen up, woman. Oh my god, you may have been a knight at the palace before, but I got no such title now. Garin stands up, but I can see silent anger in his eyes. A few people at the bar look up at him with worry. I may have no title, but I still demand respect. Sir Garland? Are you okay? He looks back at us, almost like he's coming out of a trance. I'm fine. Sorry about that, ladies. He sits back down, glancing once more at Jiren as she continues speaking to the men. They glance at Garland warily, their expressions more somber. Why was he acting that way? Garland's usually more composed. Princess, is something on your mind? No. I remember being kind of bummed that Garland wasn't a love interest, but him and, like, he and Jiren are cute, so that's okay. I brush all thoughts of what just transpired from my mind as I return to my work. Hours go by and my body protests to all of the leading I have to do. Even though I had to carry a lot around town yesterday, it was nice to be out for a while. Maybe I'm better off helping him just to avoid the chores in here. At least that stops me from being worked to the bone. Oh, Princess, you're doing very well today. I always perform like this. But today you're delivering everything really quickly. Do you mean to say I don't perform well on other days? No, Princess. I only mean to say that today your performance is even better than normal. Is that supposed to be a compliment? I walk away from Anis, who stares after me sadly. If she wanted to give me a compliment, she could have said something that wasn't so backhanded. Oh, Lizette. It's always rough starting over with her. As the tavern clears for a day, I finally have time to sit down and relax. As I'm sitting there, Waltz pulls up a chair and sits in front of me. Hello, Princess. I heard from Anna that you were excellent at your job today. Congratulations on improving. Princess? So you're mocking me now, too? Princess, I think you're taking things too seriously. The intention of a compliment is to, well, compliment someone. We're not making fun of you. You are implying that I'm not normally as good at this. We never said you weren't good at this, only that you were better today. Let me give you an example. I put on puppet shows for kids. Sometimes the children come to me and say that the show was even better than usual. So the children are telling you that your shows are normally satisfactory. Not at all. The children always smile regardless of whether they really like the show. So long as you're trying your best, that's all that matters. The people in the bar are always smiling when you deliver food to them, aren't they? No, no one likes me here. Maybe if you smile, they would smile back. Stop telling her to smile! I'm not going to smile for any of them. I do not owe them anything. You don't need to owe anyone a smile. Any smile that isn't owed is fake. Princess, I am leaving Waltz. I want some time to myself. I walk upstairs to my bedroom, pointedly ignoring the look of sadness on Waltz's face. I have been sleeplessly laying on my bed for hours. Sometimes I hear the sounds of people walking through the hallway. Who would be up at this time of night? I need to leave and get some fresh air. It is eerily quiet at night. I stop when I hear faint sounds coming from outside. What is that? We will remain inside. On second thought, maybe it'll be dangerous. Yep. I don't actually remember what happens if you go outside, but... I turn and see Delora looking at me with amusement flickering in her eyes. Did you come down to visit Mr. Broom or something? I didn't know you two had gotten so close. We haven't. It was a joke, Princess. You really didn't have a sense of humor, do you? I think it is you who does not have the sense of humor. Snappy as a crocodile, as always. So what are you doing down here? Couldn't you sleep? Me too. Couldn't sleep? Me too. I heard some sounds. I just want to see where they were coming from. Sounds? Are you really spooked by some sound from the forest? Or are you just too curious for your own good? Curiosity killed the cat, you know. I did not ask for your opinion, which... Well, the both of us could use some fresh air, don't you think? I stare at her in surprise. Come on, I know a place we can go. Delora and I eventually find ourselves in the forest. Those sounds, it sounds like metal against metal. Well, I guess with you being partner of Karma, you would find out eventually. Excuse me? I get the answer to my question when we walk through the trees and come into a clearing. I finally see where the sounds are coming from. Oh. Two men standing in a clearing, swords clashing. One of the men is Garland, who is poised with his sword. It takes me a moment to realize that the other is Karma, who isn't in a dress. So it was he who was with Waltz that night? Neither he nor Garland knows as at first. Princess, you're staring. Of course I am. What is all of this? A practice session. Karma is a very talented swordsman, and he practices at night with either Jurian or Garland, depending on who's not on patrol. Karma can use his sword that well. The king told me once that only knights could have such skill. Just who is Karma? Oh, if it isn't the princess! His voice is nothing like the feminine voice I always hear from him. Karma actually sounds like a man. I mean, I know he isn't looking at me in between his strikes with a little smile. How does he remain so composed and steady with a distraction? Princess? Karma quickly finds an opening and Garland sets it in stance and then pins him to the ground with his sword, still smiling. To be distracted is to die, Garland. I know. The ability to see distractions and then put them in the back of your mind is one every knight should hone. You must know everything that is happening around you, but only deal with the pertinent things. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Karma straightens, sword in hand. Moments later, Garland stumbles to his feet and gives an obedient bow. Karma nods in before sheathing his sword. A slow melancholy begins to creep into my heart. For some reason, seeing this sword practice makes me nostalgic, though I'm not sure why. What are you practicing for? To protect, princess. Knowing the sword is the same as knowing the shield. It's a means to protect. To protect? I think I remember having this kind of conversation with them before. I can never figure out how to counter an opponent when they're a mere inches from my face. My commander called that one the enemy's kiss, a standoff where your eyes lock onto your opponents because of the proximity. The best way to counter that is to feint the sword in the opposite direction. It throws your opponent off because they're not looking. Hi Regina, welcome back. Glad you could make it. Oh, that makes sense, but the enemy's kiss, what a name. It seems so dramatic for a sword move, doesn't it? Swordplay is dramatic though, isn't it? Isn't the most effective swordplay not meant to be flashy? Princess, I didn't notice you there. Good morning, Princess. Well, the most effective swordplay cannot be predicted. The commander says it needs to be robust. And quick. Sometimes swordplay can look like dancing though, which is why some think that professionals are flashy. That seems unnecessary. Everyone has their own methods, their own skills. All of us knights fight for different reasons as well. Isn't it to protect all of us in the palace? Well, yes, but we protect everyone in the castle for different reasons, Princess. The knights protect for different reasons. I turn to Karma. But Karma, you're not a knight. No, I'm most definitely not. But since Scarlet and Jurian begged me to teach them, I have somehow become their mentor. There's no way Garland and Jurian would do that. After all, the both of them were the best knights in Angiel before they were stripped of their titles. Karma actually speaks the truth. Jurian and I really did have to get down on our knees and beg for him to instruct us. What? Is Karma really so talented? So, you're finally impressed with me. What do you think, Princess? I'm the picture of elegance in this outfit, aren't I? You know, I don't know why you and Rumple fight so often. You really are very similar. Don't compare me to that fool, he has no class. Just because you don't come from different backgrounds doesn't mean he has less class. So the reason you were so tired today is because you do these practices at night? Oh, I suppose I've been caught red-handed. Why does this have to be a secret? Does it have to do with Karma's curse? But he is not in his disguise now. We could have been working on breaking our curses today, but no, you decided that staying up late into the night and practicing was more important. That's probably why you were grumpy this morning. Well, our protection is vital, don't you think? Garland, you're at the palace. How is it that Karma possesses more skill with the sword than you? Princess! Karma is special, Princess. He's more talented with the sword than a lot of other people. And I do pride myself on being a splendid instructor. But never fear, Princess, I will help you dispel your curse. After all, you did just suggest that we were still partners. Can you really help me with my curse? But how will we do that by just presenting opportunities? We'll try again tomorrow, darling, but for now, Garland and I have some more work to do. This time, Garland, do not lose focus. Yes, sir. The Sanasaurus carries through the night air, and for a long while I stand with Delora, watching the two men fight. Karma chides Garland often, telling him that his concentration is waning. Karma is a good swordsman, perhaps even better than the palace knights. His nimble swordplay repeats again and again in my head, even when I return to the tavern for the night. Lucette, I've told you before that the knights are an unruly bunch. But mother, they're so much fun to watch. They're dangerous, Lucette. Any person with a sword has the potential to use it on you. But father says that those knights are supposed to protect me. That they are, as that is their order. But as people, they may not be so good, Lucette. Not so good? The king has told you that the knights are meant to use swords to protect you, but you cannot trust them completely. Even though father said they would keep me safe? Sometimes the people we trust are we trust are the most deceitful, and the man with a sword has a weapon to use against you, no matter what he says. Be wary that he can turn on you. Haven't I told you before that you should not trust people? But the knights are... Even knights can be treacherous, Lizette. Do not trust a man with a sword. He can be dangerous. Yes, mother, I understand. Try to understand, my sweet. I only want you to be safe. Yes, I understand. Chapter 4, Girlfriends. Jurian, if you don't come at me like you truly mean to stab me, you'll never land a hit. Oh, okay, sure, why not? I didn't mean to press the menu, but... Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks since I first saw Karma here in the forest practicing with Garland. I've come here every night since then, though I never stay long as Karma. Since I actually have work to do in the mornings. Yeah, I know, she has a really dark past. I mean, not dark, but like very tragic, kind of, because considering how much her mother brainwashed her. Alright, here I come in, how she ended up, you know, having consequence because of that. You know, being called the Ice Princess and having a bad reputation among people, and she can't really grow out of it because it was embedded in her since childhood. Alright, here I come. The two swords clash, and Karma laughs as he throws Jurian back and taps her lightly on the shoulder with his sword. That makes 4 hits, and that one was easy. Is that the best it can do, Jurian? I notice that every time Karma practices with Jurian, he's in his Miss Karma disguise. He says it's because of the curse, and because he does not want Jurian to fall in love with him. Well, I mean, makes sense. Isn't he being overdramatic? I doubt someone like Jurian could fall in love with Karma. Be slow and quiet. Garden tells me that you're usually good at that. I am, sir. Then why the exception today? Sir... Darling, it wouldn't happen to be because of the way I'm dressed, would it? Are you still not used to it? Hit the nail on the head, have I? It's not very chivalrous to hurt a lady, of course, but that logic applies to men as well. An enemy is an enemy, Jurian, even if your enemy is a delicate flower like myself. Delicate flower. Jurian, you should hit him on the head for that. But Princess... He is not delicate at all. Jurian laughs and I scowl at her. Is she laughing at me? You and Karma seem to get along. I doubt it. Oh, Princess, you wound me. You always say that. You wound me where Jurian's blade cannot. Something flashes in Jurian's eyes as she readies her sword again. Karma stands ready as Jurian rushes at him with her sword. Their swords clash again. I wonder... Karma, your back's open. Karma turns, Jurian taps on the shoulder and laughs aloud. I did it! A single hit! It looks like you have a weakness too, Karma. No, it wasn't a weakness. It was a lack of sleep catching up with me. Why did he listen to me? He told Garland the other day that it was crucial to only listen and watch the most important things. Alright, practice is over for now. I can see Garland coming for his practice. Karma walks to a corner to have a drink. I should probably head back to the tavern soon, but there is something I want to see first. On her way out, Jurian gives a solemn nod to Garland. She pauses to say something to him and then looks at me, noticing my vague curiosity. I was just mentioning what a good swordsman Karma is. I have seen him fight, and Karma is a good swordsman. There's no doubt about it. Yet is practicing with him really so special? He is fast on his feet and quick with his reactions. He's an excellent person to train under, even better than most of the commanders in the palace. I can second that. Even better than Ross, remember him? The first commander we trained under, the one that punished slow learning with extra exercises. You always had to do more exercise than I did, something about you being distracted. I had a coach like that. I was watching the way you swung your sword to make sure you didn't hurt yourself. You've always been overprotective. Well, They both suddenly stop to look at Karma, who is smiling slyly on the side. Why does he have to have that look on his face? Well, that's a sign. We can't keep the commander waiting. Garland shakes his head, his expression snapping back into something more serious. Right. The two exchange quick farewells before Jurian waves and steps out of the clearing, leaving Garland with Karma. You're in a dress today. Are you two really so opposed to hurting me when I'm in a dress? Or are you worried about ruining it? Oh, no. I mean, that's a real concern, ruining the dress. It's just so strange. You move so well even in a long dress. But yes, Jurian did mention I was stepping on it once. Impossible. I'm the picture of elegance. Of course, sir. Karma shrugs Garen's comment off. The two ready their swords and get right into practice. Jurian has taken over Garen's patrol now, so Garen can get in some practice time. So, Garland, have you told Jurian yet? No. The conversation that Karma always has with Garland is the real reason I stay behind to watch them practice. I don't understand why Garland answers Karma's question if doing so makes him so depressed. Will you ever say anything to her, Garland? Why don't you just confess to her already? Karma lands an easy hit on Garland, who sighs in response. Oops. I thought I clicked on it. Oh. Whenever Garland thinks about Jurian, he gets distracted. I do not understand his feelings at all, but seeing him remain quiet frustrates me. Karma is so sassy. Jurian is talented and poised. I could never be good enough for her. You'll never win a woman's heart if you don't compliment her looks as well, Garland. Well, she's pretty too, beautiful, and then there's me. Oh, they're so cute! They're so disgustingly cute! Aren't they both knights? Haven't they been trained together for a long time? I can see why you wouldn't tell her. Because she's better than me. No, because if you told her and she refused, then it would be difficult afterwards. Do you understand, Princess? Of course I understand. I'm not stupid. No, I didn't mean it like that. Don't take offense, Garland. That's just the way she talks. The princess is a fragile flower, her petals always curved inward. What does that even mean? Exactly what I was thinking. What does that even mean? See, if it were Jurian, she'd probably know, but I'm just as confused as you are. I don't think so. I don't think anyone understands half the fluff Karma speaks. It's because I weave love and dedication into every single one of my words. There's a beauty in deciphering them. But enough idle chatter, sir. Let us continue our training. I end up staying longer than I intended. By the time I consider returning to the tavern, Garland and Karma are wrapping up for the night. I have a question for Karma, so I wait until Garland leaves before I approach him. You're still here, Princess? Or you're seeking out alone time with me by chance? I have enough of that every day when we run errands. I just have a question for you. You always come to the right person. What can I do for you, Princess Lucette? You ask Garland the same question every time you train, and he always tells you that he cannot confess. Karma nods in acknowledgement, but his attention is on his sword. He inspects it carefully before sheathing it. It frustrates me. You're frustrated? That look of his always annoys me. Oh my. Well, that makes sense. Lucette needs vulnerability lessons. Oh my. It is annoying. Did you want to ask me why he won't confess because you're so frustrated? Yes. I suppose after almost 2 months, I do know you a bit better. You do not know anything about me. I think he knows you pretty well. And I do not know anything about Karma either. Confessing isn't easy, dear Lucette. Surely you must realize that the possibility of rejection is a significant deterrent. But if you never ask, you never get an answer, and the stress of worrying stays with you and ruins everything. She knows surprisingly a lot of it. Surprisingly, considering. Yeah, why are you staring at me? Is that the reason you're so blunt, Princess? Blunt? You're far more blunt than I am. Princess Lucette, you truly are amusing. You are sharp as a knight's blade. I am not amusing. That's a matter of opinion, darling. He really is insufferable. And yet I still come to him for advice. The scariest part of a confession is the possibility of rejection. Can you imagine loving someone and finding out that they don't feel the same way about you? My thoughts shift to the king. My chest tightens. Princess Suzette? Karma reaches out a hand to brush a strand of hair out of my face. I slap it away without realizing. He pulls his hand back with a gentle sigh. My apologies, princess. No, I cannot imagine. No? Loving someone and finding out they do not feel the same way? I always knew my father never loved me. My understanding is different from what Karma is referring to. Besides, I no longer hold any love in my heart for the king. I have already given up hope on him. Right? It's a good thing you haven't experienced rejected love, princess. It's one of the worst feelings. Karma asked to be alone, so I returned to the tavern by myself that night. He can, yeah, he could be a love therapist, but then that would be kind of ironic considering his condition. I do not know why I agreed to this when nothing changes. Today I am once again out in town with Karma, running errands. Since we've been partners, he insists on me coming with him every day. Why do you need a new dress? Because a lady needs all kinds of dresses in her closet. Variety is key when you want to make a good impression. Why would you want to make a good impression on people in a disguise? A disguise is meant to conceal you. It does not exist to be flaunted. Oh no, darling, I only wear a disguise to stop the curse from working on people. It's not really meant to conceal anything but the fact that I am a man. Being doted on by a married woman or by a woman in love with another man, it's especially troubling. Is the curse really that powerful? Karma leads me over to the dress store and our conversation pauses when he goes to the store owner to get specifications for a new dress. When we leave, Karma suggests going someplace to reward me for all my hard work. You're treating me? Why wouldn't I, darling? You've been helping me for a while now. What is this feeling? Gratitude? Karma does owe me for everything that I've done for him, so why do I feel like this? You know, it would be much easier for you to just help me carry bags. Oh, there! Let's buy one of those cupcakes! Oh, the cupcakes! Karma cuts through my suggestion easily. One of my favorite parts of his route, weirdly enough. Does he really dislike work so much that he'd rather pay me off for helping him? Karma takes me to a stand showcasing all kinds of cupcakes. There are some with colored frosting, others with fancy decorations. Some are especially eye-catching, like a bright blue cupcake decorated with little stars. Anything catch your fancy, ladies? All of them, actually. Alas, I do not think eating them all would be good for my diet. What do you think, princess? We'll share one. Oh my god, sharing one! That's so sad! Imagine sharing one cupcake between two people. I turn back to the cupcakes, which I realize are big enough to share between two people. Oh, okay. Never mind. Am I choosing one for myself or one that Karma would like? I guess. He is treating me, but... Two cupcakes catch my eyes. One has a tiny little creature sitting on top of the frosting. It seems to be a little lizard of sorts, though it is strange. The colors remind me of Karma's dress. The other cupcake is decorated with little white chocolate pearls. Those pearls are small and somehow cute, but Karma might like the other cupcake? Oh, so it's between those two? Which would you like, Lucette? Aw, but the pearl one sounds so pretty. But we need to be nice and choose the one with the fancy cupcake with the lizard. I have that one. The one with the... Oh my, is that a chameleon? A chameleon? It is a chameleon! Oh, that's adorable. Sir, we'll take one of those. I was thinking he'd like it for the colors, not the chameleon. Whatever that is. Let's go enjoy this somewhere else, shall we? Karma leads me to the middle of the plaza, and the two of us find a table. He walks off to get a fork and a knife, before returning and handing a set to me. Do we really need a knife and fork to eat a cupcake? So before we got here, I'm surprised she would think that, considering her upbringing, but... So before we got your dress and you distracted me with the cupcakes, we were talking about your curse. Karma, chameleon. Worry, it's not an interesting topic. I was glad that we had gone off that tangent, to be honest. Why don't you want to talk about it? You have your secrets just as I do, Princess. But the whole point of pairing up is to help each other over curses. Princess, you want to help me? Only because it is necessary that I help him so he can help me. I haven't made any progress helping you, though. You said you would provide me with opportunities. I'm not very good at that, am I? I'm sorry, Princess. Well, I don't think I've done anything for you either. But Princess, you've been helping me for the last 3 weeks. Whether or not it is an obligation, you still are good company. Good company? No one has ever told me that before. They only chide me for being difficult to speak with. Karma starts cutting the cupcake. It's nice sliding through frosting and cake with ease. That does not look like it's big enough for 2 people. Oh, so wait, is he eventually going to have to cut the chameleon in half? I've definitely never seen such refined manners for a simple dessert. What was your life like before the curse, Princess? I have no need to tell you any of that. No, it's not necessary, but I am curious. Would I be doing a good deed in telling him? I don't think so. How about we trade off fact for fact? You give me a story today, and I'll give you one tomorrow. What makes you think I'm interested in your life? Oof. Well, you do keep asking me about my curse. Only because we're working on breaking our curses. Okay then, we won't talk about the past or any secrets. We can talk about this cupcake instead. What? Why does he always insist on changing the topic? Karma cuts the chameleon top in half. I notice that he gives himself the head, which is a lot cuter, while I get stuck with the tail. He does cut the chameleon in half! Oh. Chameleons are little lizards that can blend into their surroundings. Is he willing to go this far to avoid the subject? When I was a child, my father used to call me a chameleon. Oh, what? I hid a lot to avoid responsibilities. Oftentimes, no one could find me. Not my father, nor the servants. If he had servants, then that makes him a noble? One day I was out searching for a mythical creature in our garden and I came upon the chameleon. It was this small, silly little lizard, but I only found it because I was looking for something fantastic. The lizard on the cupcake does not seem all that fantastic. That's because you're eating the ass. My father explained what it was to me, and then he started calling me his silly little chameleon. It was ridiculous, but he said I was always very good at hiding, and so it suited me. What is it, Princess? It seems like you're still good at hiding. You hide behind your disguise and keep many secrets. I suppose I'm still a chameleon, then? I don't think that nickname makes any sense. Sometimes I don't have to. Nicknames don't have to make sense to be endearing, Princess. Can we please just get back to the subject at hand? Yes, this cupcake. If you insist on sharing a story for a story, then I will tell you something about me. Oh? You didn't seem the type to want to share. I normally do not see any reason for sharing things about my past, no. Mother once told me that to confide in someone else was a weakness. But more than that, there's always worry that others would judge me. No one has ever wanted to listen to me. I know enough about others' opinions of me to know that they think I'm the one at fault. Always. I wouldn't judge you, Princess. I mean, I wouldn't judge you for not wanting to say anything to me. I divulged nothing to you, after all. A story for a story. That's a deal, right? I expect you to keep to it. Or rather, a fact for a fact. It's not like I had to tell him everything, just something about myself. I will tell you about my life at the palace. It's not as if it's a secret, though I doubt Karma would understand. Ever since Mother died, the palace has been a cold place. Why the surprise? It's because you see Emmeline and Rod and assume we are all one big happy family? I do have to admit that Princess Emmeline seems quite gentle. Prince Rod is quiet, but he seems like an honorable man, which is why he hates her. When I see you and the princess at the dress store, Princess Emmeline seems very nice, is she not? Her kindness is fragile at best. She tries far too hard for it to be genuine. Her insistence is irritating. I've never wanted to be friends with her. It feels so weird to read her. I'm being like in this state again after playing Rod's route. The king took a second wife after my mother died, as if she never mattered to him. Karma assigned, I continued to talk, my emotions loosening my tongue. I had meant to stop there, but the words keep coming. The only one who ever showed me any affection in the palace was my mother. The king never paid much attention to me in the first place, but he treats Rod and Emmeline far better than he has ever treated me. What was your mother like? All of my fondest memories are of her. That's because she made it so that you would only be with her. She was always with me in the palace because, oh, whatever. Teaching me right from wrong. She taught me how not to show weakness, who to speak with. See? Who to speak with. Needless conversation is useless. People are often very likely to lead you astray. That was the reason I never saw any reason to speak with the townsfolk. Will you judge me as everyone else does? No, princess, I'm not judging you. I'm just a little sad. Sad? Why would he be sad? It sounds like you lived an empty life. It was not an empty life. But it sounds as if your mother separated you from everyone. Ooh, he's quick to catch on. It wasn't as if the townsfolk would have accepted me anyway. Mother said they were not to be trusted. I mean, I know it seems obvious, but still. Princess, about your mother. I will not hear you speak ill of mother. No, I only had a question about your mother. Karma coughs, and I pause to stare at him as he clears his throat. What is it? This... Oh gods. I hear the change immediately. His voice is lower, far lower, lower. The soft gentleness gone. Karma puts a hand to his throat and grumbles. Karma's voice is teetering on the edge of sounding unmistakably male. I've always wondered how he is able to change his voice, but I'd always forget to ask him about it. What happened to your voice? Oh, it's Miss Karma! I turn to see a young market girl approaching us. She looks like Karma, adoringly. I've always wanted to speak with you, Miss Karma, ever since you complimented my dress that one time in the dress store. Your dress is lovely today, as always, Miss Karma. Karma? Miss Karma, are you okay? I am quite fine. I cannot help but giggle as the girl takes a step back, looking shocked by Karma's now deep voice. Karma curses again in his deep voice before forcing a bright smile on his face. Excuse me, I'm feeling under the weather. That's not a bright smile. I noticed that he was trying to change the pitch of his voice, but the highness is only annoying rather than soothing now. And I know, I wish there was a fan dub or something around. Or maybe even... well, I guess it's not possible to get an official fully voiced one now, but yeah. I wish there was at least a fan dub, but I noticed that he was trying to change the pitch of his voice, but behind it is only annoying rather than soothing now. Oh, I'm sorry. Karma turns to me urgently, but I'm too amused to offer any sort of assistance. There was a fan dub of it, or an official one? What is it, Miss Karma? I'm assuming it's not an official one, but... Karma's smile is forced and his eyes are glaring at me. I laugh once again, not able to help myself. His expression softens, but only slightly. Let's tease him. He obviously wants to leave, but I cannot help myself. Miss Karma, I do wish you would say something. At the very least, you should thank this girl for her compliment. Oh no, it's quite alright. Come on, Karma, you're usually the most charming person on these streets. Thank you. He sounds like he is dying now. I cannot help but start laughing again. The small annoyance on Karma's face seemed to dissipate completely. Leaving. Oh, did they finish it? The fan dub? Because I know a lot of fan dub projects that drop off the face of the earth. He takes my hand and curtsies politely to the girl as he pulls me away. Karma, you sound sick. It's run out. Run out? The potion that Parfait makes for me. I must have talked too much. You talk too much? Karma puts a finger to his lips as we stroll through the town. He shakes his head, making it clear that he won't speak to me until later. When we arrive at the tavern, it is already dark. Karma pauses and turns to look at me. What? You have a nice smile, Princess Lu said. I'm glad I could make you laugh. I consider making this a collaboration where other people could voice the other characters, but well, first of all, I don't know anyone, and second of all, we'll have to coordinate around like everyone's schedules after we cast people, and I already planned on like playing this game, and I wanted to stick to my schedule, so I mean, in the future I could make a collaboration for a different game, but yeah, well, again, I don't know anyone. You have a nice smile, Princess. I'm glad I can make you laugh. Well, of course I laughed. You sound ridiculous. It's worse than ridiculous just to see you smile. You and Rumpel really are the same. The comment doesn't faze him. He smiles widely as he leaves for his room. I'm glad I could make you laugh. I cannot get those words out of my head, even though I'm supposed to be resting for the night. I think I should go see if Karma is practicing with Jurian or Garland. I leave my room and go down to the reception room. Delora and Parfait let me go to the forest at night alone now, since they know that I'm meeting up with Karma. Parfait is in the reception room tonight, reading a book. I was always told reading in the dark was bad for your eyes. Oh, Princess, I didn't see you. I noticed that she's closed the book and I can now read the cover. She is reading Cinderella. That's my fairy tale curse. The Great War was caused by the fairy tales, right? Yes, that's right. And yet you are reading one. The curses are based off of these fairy tales, after all. But why are you reading Cinderella? My curse isn't anything like the fairy tale was reversed. True, but the morals remain the same. In order to become Cinderella, you must be good like her. Cinderella had everything handed to her by a fairy godmother. I had everything taken away. Princess, have you truly had everything taken away from you? Compared to what I used to have, what I have now might as well be nothing. Oof. You have friendships and people enjoy your company. No one in this tavern enjoys my company. Karma said he did. Are you sure about that, Princess? I think you just have difficulty trusting that we all like you. Like me? Why would you like me? You become like family here. I haven't even been here that long. It doesn't matter. Everyone here at the Martian is family. Family? You were saying that everyone at the Martian is like family? Princess, you're one of my boarders. You're more than just a regular here. You live here with us. So like I said, you're family. I speak more of the people here than I have ever spoken to my own family. In the palace, I was always alone. The only person I could speak with was Fritz. Are you going to watch Karma practice? I nod in response. Be safe, Princess. As I head to the door, I recall what happened earlier today. Parfait, what is this potion you make for Karma? You mean the potion I make to change his voice? He begged me to help him when he first designed his disguise. Karma makes a beautiful woman, but he didn't think the illusion was complete without a convincing voice. You know how picky he is. Something else on your mind, Princess? Karma hides its curse, but you must know the conditions for breaking it, don't you? Parfait does not answer. Or are you oh still keeping it a secret? Princess Lu said, not everyone likes to talk about their curse. I think it will be better if you ask Karma directly. I just don't understand why he won't tell me everything when I'm trying to help him. Just as you think your good deeds are difficult, there's also something about Karma's curse that I can't come to terms with. I put my hand in the necklace around my neck. I still haven't performed any good deeds. Can I really do this? I am going now. I walk out the front door and into the forest. I decide not to think about all of this, at least not until later. I wish this was all simpler and that karma wasn't cloaked in so many secrets. Oh boy. Oh great! More depressing flashbacks. Mother, I went to town today. Oh, I told you not to go into town. Did your father take you? He told me that would be fun. And was it? No, everyone looked really angry at me, but I don't know why. I've told you before, haven't I, dearest one? The townsfolk are jealous of you. Jealous? They are bitter about their thought in life, and because of that, they will seek to use you for your status. You cannot trust them, Luzette. You cannot trust anyone but me. Trusting others will only lead to heartbreak, Luzette. You need only trust me, because I will never hurt you. Chapter 5. Wait. Favors and payback? Is that what it says? Is that what it says? Alright. I have been in Martian for a couple of months now, and I still haven't managed to do a single good deed. Today I went out to town with Moss to buy ingredients for a parfait. The two of us have both been very quiet, which is uncharacteristic for Waltz. Princess? What? Did Karma explain why I wasn't coming with you today? Princess? Does Waltz not like my company? Is that why he is asking why he had to fill in for Karma? He said he was tired. Oh. Waltz turns his head, his eyebrows furrowing in confusion. The town feels different today. It does. I feel as though there are people watching us. How can you tell? With practice, I have a lot of eyes on me when I'm doing my puppet shows, after all. Even before then, I was used to being watched, I guess. Before you were cursed, why? Well, I was more conspicuous as an adult, I guess. An adult. Oh, right. You have the Neverland curse. You remembered, yes, I have the Neverland curse. I told you what that was in the tavern once. You're stuck as a child when you should be a man. This is funny because this is never explained in Rod's Route. I mean, we know he has a Neverland curse, but his curse is never explained in Rod's Route. Right, it's a little inconvenient, but I've gotten used to it. Waltz is so much more straightforward about his curse than Karma. The two of us go into a store where we find the little cups that Parfait asked us to buy. After I pay, Waltz automatically picks up the bags. His help is nice for a change. I have become so accustomed to carrying the bags on my own. So, have you made any progress on our good deeds? You can see from my necklace that I have not. But you have changed. I still don't see how I have changed at all. Karma hasn't taught me anything about doing good. Sometimes in order to do good, you need to realize some things about yourself first. Maybe Karma's not so bad at helping you with that. He is selfish, flamboyant, and acts as if the world revolves around him. But you're still partnered with him. I am. I'm okay with Karma's company. Most of the people judge and shun me. But Karma hasn't done that, and he's even mentioned enjoying my company, and I've become more tolerant of him too. Oh, Princess! Waltz's eyes light up, and I see him pointing ahead to a crowd of people gathered around the center of the town. A woman stands in the middle of the crowd telling people's fortunes. We should go see if we can get our fortunes told. Come on. The crowd around the woman only grows larger until nearly half the plaza has been taken up. I find myself pushed around the crowd as I try to follow Waltz. The crowd's dense though, and in no time at all I have lost him. Waltz! I call for him, but I do not see him over the dozens of people in front of me. I will wait for him at the outskirts of the crowd. He should be able to find me. I make my way out of the crowd into the edges of an alleyway. But Waltz still does not appear. 10 minutes go by and consider walking back into the crowd when I hear a voice behind me. Are you looking for someone, madam? I feel someone grab my hand. I slap them away and take a step back. When I turn, I find a man standing behind me in the alleyway. Didn't mean to startle you. What do you want? I want to help you return to the palace, Princess Lucette. You know who I am? I do, Princess, and I can lead you back to the palace. Who are you? Someone who's working for the king. But the king does not remember me. The only people that would remember me are witches, fairies, and lows of the curse, so who exactly is this man? You're lying. Thank God she has a brain. Princess, why would I ever lie to you? Now come, I'm sure everyone in the palace will be very happy to see you. The man grasps my hand roughly and begins trying to pull me through the alleyway. The first thing I try to do is scream, but the man clamps his free hand over my mouth. The crowd is getting farther from us and no one can see us in the shadows. Princess, I swear on my word I'm bringing you back to the palace. Fight back! I have to fight back. Maybe I can still draw people's attention to me. I try to squirm my way out of the man's arms, but it does not work. He chuckles lightly at me until I elbow him in the stomach. Totally not evil! For the few moments I am free, I try to run, but all too soon the man grabs me again with the same punishing grip over my mouth and nose to stop me from screaming and breathing, apparently. You're a real feisty one, ain't ya? I feel like I might faint. In one last attempt to get free, I tug at the man's hand with my own and manage to shift it just enough until I can bite down on it. Ow! The man screams in pain, his grip finally loosening. I can hear him curse as I run away from him. A few minutes later, I realize I have gone the wrong direction. Oops! I suppose that is the least of our worries in that moment. I soon come to a dead end in the alleyway, and I can hear the man running up behind me. Oh no! No, no, no. What is this I see before me? I look at to see Karma standing on the rooftop right above us in his disguise holding a sword, a broad grin on his face. How did he get up there? Madam, you might hurt yourself playing with that sword. You might want to put it down. What? What's this, sir? Do you feel threatened by me? You should. Karma jumps down from the building and raises— Oh my god, he just jumped down from a building? Is no one going to mention that? And raises the sword in front of him. His eyes are angry, his earlier jovial personality fallen away. Anyone that attacks a lady has to pay for the crime. Guys, he jumped off a building. Karma rushes forward, moving faster than I can see, even in his long dress. The glint of the sword causes the man to fall backwards, loosening his grip on me. I step back from the man's hold and watch as Karma points his sword at the man's neck. Now I have a sword and you do not. Do you really want to test your luck, sir? This isn't worth it. The man runs off, leaving me alone with Karma in the alleyway. What's this? You were a lot cockier just a few moments ago. I breathe out slowly as relief washes over me. Princess! Waltz approaches from where the man had run. So, did you meet the coward fellow on her way here? I bumped into a man who looked as if he was running from death. That's pretty specific. Oh my, I feel oddly accomplished. Karma and Waltz's voices become faded and distinct as my vision blurs. I'm suddenly light on my feet. All the adrenaline from earlier has dissipated into thin air. I feel tired. Princess! Before I can collapse, I feel arms pulling me back up. Rest easy, Princess Lucette. I close my eyes and fall into blackness. When I wake up, Anne is setting a tray of food down on my bedside table. She does not notice as I rise slowly from bed, like a zombie. Anne is... Oh, Princess, you're up. We were worried about you. Lady Delora and Lady Parfait said you were just out because of shock, but still. How long have I been asleep? Just a few hours, Princess. Don't worry about chores for now. Lady Delora says that if you're feeling better later, you can use Mr. Broom. Just thinking about using Mr. Broom gives me a headache. Where are Karma and Waltz? Waltz is scouting the town looking for the man that captured you. And Karma? I think he might be in his room, Princess. He's got patrol tonight, so he's resting a little bit. If he has patrol tonight, that must mean he was resting this morning too. How did he know I needed help? Do you need anything, Princess? No, I'm going to visit Karma. What? To thank him? However, he knew if Karma hadn't been there, things would not have ended so well. Yes. That's sweet, Princess. Oh, Lady Delora wants to talk to you about what happened when you're feeling up to it. Okay. I wait until Annis leaves the room before I follow after her. It is only after I exit my room that I realize I do not know where Karma's room is. Annis must have assumed I already knew with us being partners and all. It's fine, I do not need Annis's assistance for this. I can find Karma's room on my own. It takes me some time, but eventually I find a room with his name on the door in careful, flowery letters. It suits him. I simply open the door without thinking to knock. Ah! I expected to find Karma lying in bed, but instead he is standing in front of a mirror, changing his clothes. I just imagine them screaming at each other. Princess. Oh. I do not think I have ever seen a shirtless man before. I sure hope you haven't. Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed! He turns to me and the realization that he is standing there just in his pants hits me hard in the stomach. My face feels incredibly, uncomfortably warm. Why are you just standing there? Put on your clothes! Why are you just standing there? Go outside! And then I notice a large tattoo on his chest. It is a rose ensnared by many vines. I stare at it for a few moments, before Karma puts a hand there to conceal it. It's rude to come into a lady's room unannounced, you know? Karma slips his usual dress on carefully over his head, and then approaches me. I take a step back without realizing. Karma raises his eyebrow and smiles at me mischievously. It's a familiar look, but it arouses me more now than it ever has before. My princess, you're as red as a tomato. Are you okay? Does this man always need to point out the obvious? I'm fine. There's no need to shout, darling. Now, what did you come here for? To see me, the beautiful Karma? Does everything always have to revolve around you? Well, you're breaking into my room. True. I am barely able to stifle a sigh. Well? I cross my arms and frown at him. His smile makes it harder to get my next words out. I came here to thank you. Do my ears deceive me? What did you say, Princess? Princess? Thank you for saving me. I saw you fight back. That was a very admirable attempt. You saw me? Yes, as you were coming to the end of the alleyway. But I didn't manage to escape. It doesn't matter, Princess. You certainly made the effort. But I digress. You are quite welcome, Princess. It was my pleasure. I should leave. Wait, what? I turn to leave, but Karma grabs my hand and pulls me back. But Princess, don't you owe me something? So Karma was expecting something in return after all. I should have known. I think you owe me an apology. You did come into my room unannounced after all. What is he talking about? Since you broke into my room, I demand to help me with my makeup. Then now forget your transgression. Your makeup? Yes, darling. I thought you were resting because you were going on patrol tonight. Resting? Nonsense. I have much to do. My makeup earlier was so messy that I washed my face in order to reapply it. I do that too. I cannot believe I'm going to agree to this. Fine. Oh, what a splendid day today is. Come, Princess, let's do this by a mirror. Karma pulls me over to the mirror, where I can see both of our faces reflected. He has a surprising variety of makeup on the dresser beside him. I do not even care that much for my appearance. Why am I helping Karma with his makeup? Now, which feature on the face do you think is the most important one to highlight, Princess? What? What are your eyes attracted to most on a person's face? When they're laughing, when they smile? Why is he asking me for my opinion on something so trivial? If someone was smiling, the first feature I would look at on their face would be the lips. Please don't start getting romantic already. Despite myself, I find my gaze dropping to Karma's lips. Hmm? Why do I feel like I'm walking into a trap? I know. The lips. My princess, I didn't think I'd ever hear you say that you looked at my lips when I smiled. I did not say that. Oh, but you did. And princess, I do believe you are blushing. I'm just realizing that Karma probably has the most sprites out of all of the characters. He has his feminine form, and he has his normal masculine form, and then he has his no makeup feminine form. Oh, but he did. Blah blah blah. Even though Karma never said he was referring to his features, I thought about his lips anyway. The thought makes my heart flop, though I do not have the faintest idea why. Anyway, I agree. Though eyes are important, a smile isn't quite as brilliant without the lips. Without the lips? I tried to imagine a smile without lips. Yay, I never thought of that before. Smile without lips? Sorry, princess, I misspoke. Try to dispel the image from your mind. Anyway, I'll let you choose the order of things. Fine. Just don't make me look like a clown, princess. I know how much you like to tease me, but I need to get out of here quickly today. If you need to leave quickly, well, shouldn't you do your makeup yourself? And miss the opportunity to have you help me? Nonsense. If I can, I'll have you help me with my hair some other time. The way you do yours is beautiful. I always put effort into my hair as mother-in-laws emphasize the importance of looking like a princess. Aww, but I've never received a compliment on my hairstyle before. Karma gives me his makeup supplies and I start layering the color on his face. When we are this close, I cannot help but carefully inspect every one of his features. I do not think I even did something like this with Mother. You know, princess, I don't think I deserve your thanks. I paused and raised an eyebrow at him. What? You've been helping me for a while and I haven't helped you with your curse at all. What I did today was just coincidence. Coincidence? I heard you went to town with Waltz, and so I followed you too. I only happened to catch what happened in the alleyway. You managed to see me even when there were many other people who didn't? That sounds kind of romantic. I have good eyes, probably. Probably. It's not like you to be so humble. Lisette, I am, once again, offended. And why were you following us in the first place? You said you were too tired to go into town today. I was worried. It was strange not accompanying you today. Worried? Why would you be worried? Karma looks puzzled for a few moments. He glances at himself in the mirror solemnly and shrugs. Intuition, perhaps? Waltz mentioned something about feeling watched. Is there something that Waltz and Karma are watching out for that I am not? Karma closes his eyes momentarily, and I take the opportunity to dust his eyes with eyeshadow. He does not seem to mind. Princess, you haven't spoken about what happened today with Deloria Parfait, have you? No, not yet. You came to thank me first? Yes. Oh. Karma falls into silence, and I continue to work, sweeping blush on his high cheekbones. Princess, do you know anything about the man who tried to drag you away today? No, he said only that he worked for the king, before telling me he would take me back to the palace. I wonder how he recognized you. I was wondering that myself. How curious and alarming. The only ones who should pose a problem at this time are witches. Witches? What do they want to do with me? Well, I only mean that witches are the only ones who can see through our curses. So that man spoke with a witch? It's possible. But why? Why would the witches want me back at the palace? Or is that man trying to lead me somewhere else? I suppose either way the man couldn't have wanted to bring me back to the palace for a good reason. Is it possible that a witch gave a commoner description of you? But then why would... Karma stops talking and looks up at me with something like sympathy. Sorry, I'm just running my head for ideas. Are the witches really so dangerous? And what do they want of me in the first place? Rest assured, princess, we'll figure this out. I nod my head slowly. I have a lot of questions for Deloria and Parfait, but it is possible that even they might not know everything. I'll need to think on my own as well, just in case they decide to keep more of their secrets. I look at Karma and shake my head. Next time, I will be more wary. I won't let myself be caught unaware. Before I realize it, Karma has his hand on my cheek and is staring at me solemnly. His eyes are as cold and unmoving as steel. Princess, there won't be a next time. That's what I said. Next time I'll make sure you're definitely not alone. Ah. Had I been alone today, I might have actually been kidnapped. I know that, but I cannot show weakness. I just need to be more cautious. I'm not some damsel in distress, you know. Having someone at your back is far more comforting. Even on the battlefield, knights fight better together. What's wrong? Nothing. He moves his hand away from my face and stands up, sighing. His eyes look suddenly distant and his posture is stiff. I think we're about done here, right? I haven't finished your makeup, though. Wait, why am I even concerned about that? Oh, sometimes simple is better. Or would you like me to sit back down? I do enjoy being pampered by you, princess. I take it back. We're definitely done. Good. Thank you for your hard work. In an instant, the mood changes, and a bright smile once again graces Karma's face. As much as I hate to do this, I'm going to have to leave you, darling. I have business in town and then a patrol later tonight. I probably won't see you for the rest of the day, but thank you. He is thanking me for putting on his makeup. It was such a small thing. You're welcome. You already thanked me, though. Well, now we can tell I'm twice as thankful as a normal person. That doesn't make any sense, but it's Karma. A lot of the things he says do not make any sense. I leave the room with Karma, and he leaves the tavern as I go to find Parfait and Delora. The two of them are seated together in the reception, speaking in hushed voices when I arrive. They both pause to look up at me as I walk into the room. Well, well, if it isn't the princess. Took you long enough to come see us. Anna's told us you were unharmed. We're glad to see you're safe, princess. So, how about telling us what happened? When prompted, I tell him everything that transpired in the alleyway. The two listen and only exchange a solemn glance when I'm done. Do you know something about all of this that I don't? Why would the witches be after me in the first place? You remember what you said about the Cinderella corrupting witches? Well, those witches don't like seeing curses broken. They meddle where they can because they can. This is why I cast a glamour on you when you arrived here, so that you could remain hidden from magical eyes. I did to protect you. To protect me? I feel like there is more to this that they're hiding, but I do not think any amount of convincing will get them to say anything. Forgive us, princess. We're not entirely sure what's going on either. Though if it was a human that captured you, he must be working with the witches somehow. Troublesome, to say the least. But we don't know the details yet. Give us some time to figure things out. Until we figure out who that man is and who he is working for, you need to have an escort of you out of the Martian at all times. Do you understand? And once you figure it out, you would tell me? The two exchange another look, which only makes me more frustrated. They are obviously keeping secrets, and right in front of me. We'll tell you once everything falls into place. Don't worry, princess, we will never let you be put in any danger. With sighs, it ends our conversation. I make my way back to my room, feeling heavy, feet heavy. I feel like a fly caught in a spider's web. I try my best to clear my mind as I return to my room. The days go by slowly. I make no progress with my curse. Karma is busy with the knights today, and Delora and Parfait are busy talking of Rumpelbaum's curse in his room. Tonight is a perfect night to go and wander the town by myself. I need to see if I can find out anything about the witches and what's happening around the kingdom. Delora and Parfait are not going to tell me anything, and no one has wanted to take me out of the Martian since a kidnapping attempt. These thoughts spiral helplessly in my mind as I sit at a table. I have just finished working for the day, and the activity in the Martian is beginning to wind down. Garland stands at the door as the last few customers leave the Martian. Jurian is walking around the room to make sure there are no problems. Out of the corner of my eyes, I notice two men pause halfway across the room to glance back at her. I can overhear their words from where I am. Shame that she's a knight, huh? She's the proud type, too proud to let a man do it on her. Oh, so disgusting. Bleeding shame indeed. But do you think if I tried to say something to her, you two? Garland suddenly standing behind the two men, an uncharacteristically dark glare on his face. Is there a problem? Doors are closing for the night. I'm going to ask you to please leave. No need to be so uptight, lad. We're on our way out now. The two men walk out, and Garland stands in the middle of the tavern area, glaring after them. He more or less pushed them out of the tavern. If Annis had seen that, she'd probably have scolded him. Garland. You okay? Of course. You think you can fool me? I've known you long enough to know that something's bothering you. Neither of the knights seem to notice me here. If they do, they ignore me. Jurian is still looking insistently at Garland, who looks down at the floor. Is he going to say something to her? Garland says nothing, though. He looks at a loss for words. Finally, Jurian reaches out and pokes his shoulder, and he looks up, startled. Still the same as always, the silent, watchful knight. Only says things with certainty when he knows they're the truth. Even the princess is waiting for you to say something. Both knights turn to look at me, and Garland seems surprised. I raise an eyebrow at him, and he hurriedly looks away. Patrol is starting soon. I'll head out first. Okay, stay safe. Garland nods at her with a little smile before he leaves the tavern. Going to sleep soon, princess? I was just going to head up. I stand up and get ready to move up to my room, but stop once more to look at Jurian. Did you hear what those men were saying? Oh, about me being too proud or something? So she did hear them, but chose to say nothing. It doesn't bother me. You're right. I've been independent for a long time, and I would never think about pledging my safety to a man I barely know. I can take care of myself. Blunt and to the point, Jurian was really admired for that honesty in the palace. The only other men I've trusted before are my fellow knights. Garland, most of all, since we've always been partners. She does not explain any further. I decide that is for the better. The sooner everyone has cleared out, the sooner I can leave the Martian. Tonight is the night I go looking for answers. Sorry, Karma. But I can handle myself. I'm going to prove it tonight. I may not be able to fight, but I can still be cautious enough to not land myself into trouble. Still, I do not happen to hear much of anything as I am exploring the town tonight. I should have brought along some kind of weapon, but then I would have had to steal a knife from the kitchen. I'm not a thief. Hours pass before I pass a tavern filled of knights. Deciding that I'll at least listen to what is happening at the palace, I linger by the open door and listen to what the men are saying. I hear that young Fritz is having a hard time of it. I feel bad for the lad. Even Sir Alcaster thinks he's gone mad. Well, he does keep talking about a princess that doesn't exist. Fritz still remembers me? But how? Even his father is growing wary of his babbling. Sir Mifros forced him on break the other day. He didn't seem happy. Well, Sir Mifros must think he's crazy too. Poor Fritz. Aw, poor Fritz. Can you keep a secret? Nice look at her, and I lean as close as I possibly can. Apparently, the boy spoke some truth, though Sir Alcaster doesn't quite believe it. He's looking for the daughter of the previous queen. Huh? The witch had a daughter? The previous queen? Are they talking about Mother? How dare they call her a witch? Apparently she did, though I don't ever remember such a girl. This is top secret stuff. I just happened to wrestle this out of one of the lackeys looking for her. What would Sir Alcaster need this girl for? I'm assuming she's dangerous and that they want to get rid of her. Are they talking about me? I'm curious, how are we supposed to find this imaginary princess anyway? Does she have any features? Aye, they described her features. Last man who went looking for her said she wore a special pendant around her neck. I should get out of here. I turn to leave the tavern, but my cloak snags on the door and falls to the floor, tripping me up in the process. I end up falling halfway into the tavern, where the chatter abruptly stops. Is this... oh, a lady. The knights who were talking approach me. One of them picks up my cloak. I attempt to grab my cloak from their fingers, but they pull it away from me, and I stumble into one of them. Madam, he moves to take my hand, and then he stops when he sees my face. Her face! And a necklace! What do you mean, her face? I thought they didn't know what she looked like, aside from the pendant. You think she was spying on us? Which? One of the knights grabs me by the wrist and pulls me toward him. He is far stronger than the man in the alleyway was. Unhand me right now, I am no witch! Then there should be no problem. We're just going to take you in, and if there's some big misunderstanding, we'll pay you ourselves, miss. No, let me go! This behavior is not fitting of a knight. Come now, miss. Let's go back quietly. I'll try convincing this time. Fighting back is useless when I am outnumbered. I have to try convincing them that I am not who they think I am. You are mistaken, sirs. I happened to overhear your conversation, and assuming I am some imaginary princess is unreasonable. The knights look at each other. You know, she has a point. She was listening in on conversation. That's clearly suspicious. Did you not hear what I just said? I happened to overhear it. Nothing more. You were cloaked as if you were trying to hide your features. Peeing out at night without a cloak is a sure way to draw attention to a lady such as myself. You know, she has a point. Stop saying that, man! Then, ma'am, there should be no problem with us taking you back to the palace. If you're mistaken, we'll clear up the misunderstanding and pay you handsomely. Come on, let's take her to the palace. The knights lead me out onto the empty streets. Why? Why did I have to be so stubborn? Your knights continue pulling me down the path until we come to a narrow street. Everyone sees us walks away to avoid the knights. There is fear in their eyes. But I have done nothing wrong. Ma'am, if it makes you feel any better, we're risking our rank on this as well. I don't know, I'm suspicious of... Who goes there? I look up and notice Karma's familiar figure walking toward us. What is he doing here, and why isn't he in his disguise? Gentlemen, I ask you to unhand that woman. As a knight, I would be ashamed to be seen treating a lady so terribly. And who are you? Her husband. Woo, his what? Unhand her, gentlemen, or taste my blade. Sir, we were just going to take her to the palace to... I will give you on the count of 3. One knight keeps his grip on me as the other draws his sword. I stare at Karma, who continues to counter the knight attacks him. The knight attacks him before his sword leaves his sheath. Karma and I trade blows, but as Karma comes out victorious, his blade slides past the knight's shoulder, distracting him enough to give Karma the opening he needs. Karma reaches back with his free hand to knock the knight out with a blow to the head. It may just be my imagination, but for a few moments, I think I see a knight's blade glimmer across the surface of Karma's hand before he falls. The knight holding me holds up his hands in surrender. I yield, sir. It seems no matter how a situation turns out, you are dishonorable. But please, sir. Karma knocks him out and then stands beside me as he sheaths his sword. Karma, A few moments, Lisette. Karma spends some time forcing a potion from a vial down each of the knights' throats. I watch him quietly, fearing that he might have killed them, but the knights only seem to be asleep. A potion a parfait gave me. It'll make the men forget they ever saw you. When Karma stands again, I notice a glimmer of blood on his hand and stare. You're hurt. It's nothing. I'm sorry. Come on, princess, let's go back. He pulls me right out onto the main street and does not let go of my hand. I cannot bring myself to speak. Karma has saved me twice now. Not only that, but this time he is injured. He says it's nothing, but his bloody hand does not move at all. Why do I have to be so stubborn and insist I can handle myself? I did not speak for a long time. Eventually I notice people start to stare. Though before long the staring grows worse. Young women begin following us, giggling from behind. I turn to Karma, who looks like he hasn't slept in days. Karma... Sorry, princess, but I'm not in the mood to talk. Those girls are walking right behind us. This is... It's curse? Karma... Listen, I just said that I'm in no mood to talk. Did you not hear me? We are being followed. He stares behind us almost stupidly and then laughs hollowly when the girls see his face. They start to rush toward us, their voices rising and blending together into horrendous cacophony. Karma is not moving though, he looks resigned. Maybe he is too tired to realize what he wants to do. I tighten my grip on Karma's hand and pull him away, my pace quickening to a run as the girls chase after us, screaming at me angrily for taking Karma away from them. Lucette, what are you doing? Getting us out of here? Lucette. I lead him to the town and into little nooks and crannies where he managed to lose some of the crowd. Karma often led me to his lonely spaces as shortcuts. Waltz knew them too. Once we are alone again, I stop, falling to my knees and letting go of Karma's hand as I catch my breath. That really was a curse, having to run away from so many mindless women. That was difficult. Lucette? What? I did not mean to snap, but the tiredness is pressing on me too. You helped me out of that. Of course I did. Why would I want to be chased by girls? You could have left me behind and gone alone. Instead, you helped me. You helped me too. I guess I paid you back. Though to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about repaying him for saving me. I just knew that I didn't want Karma to be stuck trying to fend off all of those girls. He was right about his curse. That's terrible. I just realized something. Karma kneels down beside me and waits for me to speak. My curse has people forget me, and yours has even strangers become fascinated with you. It's almost like our curses are opposites of each other, and yet we seem so similar. My eyes widen when I realize what I just said. We are similar, aren't we? He holds out his good hand to me, and I let him lead me back to the tavern through the abandoned alleyway. My feet are heavy, and all I want to do is sleep, but suddenly Karma is standing before me, his face grave. Lucette, I have to thank you for helping me earlier. I'm sorry I froze like that and made it more difficult on you. It was so sudden, I was so tired, I had no motivation to move. Shouldn't I be thanking you? I'll accept your thanks, even though I wish you didn't have to thank me in the first place. You should not have gone out on your own when you knew how dangerous it could be for you. I'm sorry. I accept your apology too, because I lost sleep over this. Oh, I have no words for how I feel right now. Princess. Oh. Oh my. Karma reaches for my hand again, and this time holds it up and kisses the back of it. Suddenly all of my tiredness falls away. You really are a handful. But a delightful handful. I'm going to bandage this hand and then rest. We'll speak later about all of this, okay? But the blood... The bleeding stopped on its own, Lou said. But it does need to be treated. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Are you sure? As sure as I can be. I don't lie, not even for the sake of a pretty lady. Karma lets my hand go as soon as we enter the Martian, and then bows politely to me before heading back to his room. I watch him go, my mind whirling. Does he usually kiss women's hands? Does he usually kiss women's hands? No, I don't think so. Chapter 6, Matchmaking. You really are a handful, but a delightful handful. His words keep repeating in my head. I cannot stop hearing his voice and feeling his lips on my hand. My face feels warm, and every time I think about his words, my heartbeat feels unsteady. I really had to stop thinking about that. Karma is karma, and he puts on that overly polite act with everyone. But then, I'm pretty sure I've never seen him do something like that with another person. I'll just go downstairs, stop thinking about all of this. I need to tell Parfait and Delora what happened. Because of the time I'd returned to the Martian yesterday, I never spoke to anyone about what happened. Maybe someone's downstairs. Someone usually is. I leave my room and make my way downstairs to the reception. It is quiet when I enter, but not as silent as I thought it would be. Karma is sitting at one of the tables speaking quietly with Parfait and Delora. His injured hand is sitting on the table, bandaged. I cannot help but stare at it, my heart plummeting. His injury is my fault. So you have yet to hear the entire story? No, I'm afraid I'm not quite privy to the information Waltz has. Is that correct? Waltz has been directly involved in this far longer than you have. What about Waltz? Princess, you're up early. They all turn to look at me as I stand at the table. Karma still looks tired and is not in his dress. He looks somber, but still smiles at me. Lucette, how nice of you to join us. When did he start saying my name without my title? Lucette, you've run into a lot of different mishaps this week, haven't you? I thought you would be stubbornly avoiding work. Instead, you go out of your way to get yourself into trouble. This involves me directly. How would I not be curious? You've also been irresponsible, sneaking out without any of us knowing. I have the freedom to do whatever I want to. I even wore a cloak to... Oh no, the cloak. I left it at the bar. I feel a nudge at my arm and Karma is holding out my cloak with a tired smile. You went back to get this? When? Yesterday, when you were still in bed. You've been running yourself dry these last few days, Karma. Oh no, he's overworking. It's nothing. Thank you. What's this? Our ice princess is thanking someone? Hi, Stacy! Glad you could make it. What's this? Our ice princess is yeah, I already read that. Why is that something so strange? Oh, come now, she's not so icy. Lucette is more fire than anything. She's filled with unbridled passion and confidence. Confidence that's gotten me nowhere so far. Don't look so dour, Lucette. You've become quite the accomplished woman. Karma gestures toward me. I flush, unsure what he is talking about. Then I notice Laura's eyes are on me, too. Oh, Parfait, do you see that? Where are they looking at? I reach down to grab my necklace and then pause. I cannot stop the gasp that leaves my lips. Yay! When did this happen? Princess, you didn't realize that there was an extra piece to your necklace? Congratulations, Princess Lucette. You're a step closer to breaking your curse. I feel proud. I only ever felt this way around Mother. She did me a great favor yesterday. If not for Lucette, I might have suffocated beneath a pile of very excited women. That sounds so wrong. Wait, helping Karma escape was a good deed? She was selfless. He's not even mentioning the injury God protecting me. Parfait and Delora are both smiling, but the cheerful mood does not last long. What were you all talking about before I came down? About your kidnapping. Well, kidnappings, both of them. It looks like we have a serious problem on our hands. What do you know about this, and what does Waltz know that I don't? Prince, it's more about... what everyone else knows that you don't. What everyone else knows? I feel anger begin to simmer inside of me. Even though he looks apologetic, he says it so casually. What are you all hiding from me? Let's gather everyone later, shall we? I think Watts might want to be here for this too. What does Watts have to do with any of it? Be patient, princess. You've already waited this long. What's another few hours? I had no choice but to agree when Parfait and Delora refused to say any more, but I am not happy about it. I spend the rest of my time doing idle chores around the tavern. I do a round of sweeping with Mr. Broom and mindlessly organize some of the bottles. I cannot believe everyone knows something about me that I don't. But now I'll find out the entire story. Maybe able to answer some of the questions I have. But why are they keeping things about me a secret to begin with? Delora gathers everyone in the tavern to discuss the kidnappings. I decide to sit in between Watts and Karma. So we have a story to tell. Story time, huh? I don't suppose this would be a romance, would it? Does he know anything? How can you stand to make comments like that constantly? How can you stand to live a lie? Oh my god. The two glare at each other across the table, but Delora silences them. Delora starts with the story about the Great War, one that I have already heard so many times I can recite it myself. What does any of this have to do with me? Because of the fairy tales, witches like myself were punished for simply existing. Our leader, the Tenebrarum Bearer, was a kind witch that was overtaken by the grief that our people suffered. She was driven so far into madness that she created the fairy tale curse to punish humans and make them suffer as the witches had. And when that wasn't enough, she committed the ultimate taboo. She killed a human. I tried to stop her, but by the time I thought to act, it was too late. Knowing that Delora and Parfait were involved in the Great War makes it seem more real. But wasn't the Tenebrarum Bearer killed? How can the fairy tale curse continue to spread if she is dead? I believe that the Tenebrarum Bearer sacrificed the last bit of her life to continue powering the Tenebrarum, all to ensure that the remaining witches could continue spreading the fairy tale curse. Is none of this ringing a bell for you? What are you talking about? She really did erase your memories. Erase? The witch who died, the Tenebrarum Bearer, was your mother, Princess Luzette. Was your mother, Princess Luzette? What? For some reason I turned to look at Karma, who is one of the only people who doesn't look away from me. I grew up outside this kingdom, but even I know the terrible witch Hildir. You expect me to believe any of this? She wasn't a witch. I would remember that. Well, you would if you had memories of the war, and the years before that. Under Hildir's rule, the palace was a dark place. The king didn't have any real power until Hildir was defeated. That goes for the rest of us too. We were slaves to Hildir. Delora's eyes flickered to Waltz. It's the truth. Waltz knows because he is also a witch. He experienced Hildir's command over the witches firsthand as well. Waltz is a witch? Sorry for keeping this secret, princess. It's not as if I can use much magic anymore anyway. Not when I'm cursed. If this was also not divulged in Rod's route. This is just another secret of many. It seems everyone is hiding something. Everyone was freed after Hildir's reign, witches, fairies, and humans alike. The king was even able to marry Ophelia, the woman he always truly loved. So it has always been Ophelia that he truly loved. Was that the reason I never felt any love from him? Because I was my mother's daughter? He gave up on me. No, dear, I don't think he gave up on me. My voice is too loud in the reception area. I feel a crack beneath the pressure, and suddenly I want to cry. But Mother told me so many times not to cry. The king gave up on me. But Mother didn't. Mother would tell me this was all a lie. She would tell me not to trust anyone. They must be lying. I turned to Karma. For some reason I trust him more than I trusted Laura or Parfait. Is this the truth? I was told the story of Hildir and her daughter, Luzette. They said you were the picture of elegance, but that you shared your mother's icy nature. But I don't think that's true at all. If Hildir was ice, then you must certainly are a warm fire. If my mother was a witch, then what does that make me? You're a witch as well, whether or not you were ever taught to use magic. On your upcoming birthday, you will become the Tenebrarum Bearer. Oh, really? Like, I actually really like this game's art style. It's really pretty. Do you realize how ridiculous this all sounds? Me? A witch? The king never said anything. And now I can't even ask him if this is the truth because I'm cursed. Why would you even curse me? We didn't want to repeat the tragedy, Lizette. I sat on your shelves for almost a year, Princess. Literally. There was ice in her heart, and if you had inherited the Tenebrae in that state, who knows what would have happened. Then why didn't you just tell me any of this? Delora and Parfait looked at each other before dropping their gazes to the ground. If we had told you before, would you have ever even bothered to listen? The king must have tried to do the same thing, and look how that turned out. You showed everyone who ever tried to tell you about Hildir's true nature. That is probably true, even though I'm having trouble believing that. They are telling me the truth. The whole world feels as if it is collapsing around me. I need to escape. I need to go out and be somewhere else, but why are the witches looking for me? You are the heir to the Tenebrae. No doubt the evil witches want you on their side, so they can continue wreaking havoc in Angio with the fairy tale curse. The men that were looking for Lizette were not witches, though. They were knights. Perhaps the witches and the knights are working together. This must be part of Alcaster's scheme to steal the throne. What are you talking about? The reason why Garland and I left the Order of Caldera was because the king did not believe us about Alcaster's coup. How would he know the prince's identity, though? Anyone who isn't a witch, a fairy, or is encouraged shouldn't be able to remember her. But now we know that it is not just the witches looking for the princess, but the knights of the Order of Caldera as well. They definitely have a description of her from someone. Who's that? Karma reaches out a hand to touch my shoulder, and I flinch back before standing up. I cannot speak about this now. I want to be alone. Let her go. She'll need a lot of time to think. I leave everyone sitting at the table as I try to process the whirling thoughts in my mind. Hildir, my mother, the only person I ever thought loved me, was a Tenebrae bearer, a witch, the first witch to kill a human. The witch that started the fairy tale curse. All this time I thought Mother was the only one who cared, but well, she never did. I stayed in my room for a long time, trying to process everything I had been told. Days go by before I decide to leave the tavern again to watch Karma practice with the knights. These last few days I felt hollow. Maybe seeing the normal practices will help me feel better. Maybe it will make things feel like nothing's changed. When I arrive at the forest, however, only Karma is standing in the clearing. He's staring through the trees as if he sees something there, but his expression is solemn, almost sad. Eventually he sighs, shaking his head before turning in my direction. Lucette. I prepare myself for a response, but find that no words come to mind. I have not spoken to Karma since the talk about Mother and witches, and any of the ease I felt of him before has slipped away. Still, I came here on my own, and I cannot just stand here being mute. I say the first thing that comes to my mind. Where are Julian and Garland? I only train with Garland. Julian is on patrol duty tonight. He'll be here later. I just came early. Why do you look sad, Karma? It seems you did too. Lizette, are you okay? I'm sorry I haven't been able to see you. Been by to see you. It is not as if you owe that to me. I don't owe it to you, but I truly wanted to. I've just been busy these last few days scouring the town for information. As much as I want you to come with me. Why would you ever have wanted to pair up with someone like me anyway? My princess, that's because I am bitter and cold, and even though I want to change, all I can think about is myself. But now, I want to change because I do not want to be the same as my mother. Isn't that selfish? Maybe so, but I believe you're being selfish for the right reasons. An entirely selfless person can't survive in this world. Before we can make others happy, we have to be happy ourselves. Happy. Ourselves. Yes, an angry person holds resentment towards everyone, and admires whatever good deeds they seek to do. That's why I cannot complete my good deeds. Wrong. You've already got one done. Recognizing a need for change is always a good thing, Lizette. Regardless of the motivation, you are trying to become a better person. That is what matters. He takes a step toward me, then puts his hands on my shoulders and leans down until I can look right into his eyes. Karma's serious expression startles me as much as his touch. It is never too late for anyone to change. You taught me that. What? Yeah, what? How could I have taught Karma anything? Do you mind if I tell you a story, Lizette? No, actually, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. He's standing too close. Shove him. Yeah, there's no shoving, but step away from him. I take a step away from him and Karma's hands fall from my shoulders. He sighs out. Yeah. The story better be just as dramatic as mine. Thank you, Lizette. For what? For agreeing to listen. And for what you just did. Stepping away from him, was I distracting him? Once upon a time in a land far, far away, there lived a crown prince from a kingdom called Brigantia. Brigantia is one of the neighboring kingdoms, so this isn't make-believe. His name was Claude Idric Rinaldi Matthias Elmont. I see. Karma, I see. But because the name was such a mouthful, he settled for an acronym as a nickname, at least around the palace where it was acceptable. I completely forgot about this part of his story. I just went ahead and thought his name was just Karma. Claude Aldrich Karma? Prince Claude was a man who flaunted his beauty and talents to all that he met. He often used his title to get what he wanted. Prince Claude was a selfish man who felt he was entitled to everything that he had. He was vain and often left his castle unattended so that he could avoid his responsibilities. Then one day he chanced upon a beautiful maiden in the town square. He led her around the whole day, being as charming as he possibly could. And then at the end of the day, he asked the woman to be his lover. She agreed, but their time together did not last long. Only weeks later, Prince Claude threw her away as one throws away an object, and broke the woman's heart. And she cursed him. That beautiful maiden was a witch, but Prince Claude found out too late. The witch said she would make his beauty, his vanity, a curse. To make even beauty a curse. Ashamed of being cursed, Prince Claude donned a disguise and left his kingdom behind. He has been gone for nearly a year now, and most probably assume he is dead. But in truth, the prince had come to Angel seeking a way to break his curse. He had heard of a young lady named Lucette, who on her 18th birthday could dispel any curse. Karma. He looked so sad. I don't know how to comfort him. Claude? Karma. Claude turns a startling red and he stares at me, and for a few moments he does not speak. Then he bursts out laughing. I stare at him in shock, not understanding his reaction. I feel myself flush. Isn't that your real name? No, darling, it is, but hearing you say my name, well, it sounds so much softer out of your lips. I rather like it. My cheeks are warm again. Ugh, how is it that he's always been made to make you feel this way? I'll call you by a name if it makes you so happy. Aww, she's nice. She's becoming nice. Let's make it a secret between the two of us. I'm still Miss Karma here. Besides, I'd rather you kept that name for my ears only. It makes me feel more special that way. He's so... I don't know the right word for this. More special. At that moment, Garden shows up for practice, and Claude politely excuses himself. I watch the two of them trade blows. Claude favors his other hand, but his blows still come quickly, even with his injury. The more Claude tells me, the more I realize that he's, like me, a noble cursed for being selfish. But how do I help break his curse? Why can't he tell me? As practice is drawing to a close, Claude asks Garland the usual question. Have you confessed to Jurian yet? Garland only shakes his head in reply. The two men sheath their swords. Garland looks almost sad as he turns to make his way back to the tavern. He likes her, yet he won't say anything. Why is that frustrating me so much? Garland. Yes, princess? You have to tell Jurian! Claude told me before that confessing is hard, but what Garland is going through looks even harder. Like, please, it's very suffocating. Princess, you know I'm incapable. No, you think you're incapable, but if you never say anything to her, you'll never know. If I say something wrong, I risk losing everything that I already have of her. And if you say nothing, you risk losing what you could have of her. This is right. Maybe you should really tell her, Garland. But before, Claude was adamant that Garland shouldn't confess to Jurian. What changed? If I mess this up... let's try looking at it through another lens. Imagine that Jurian is Lisette. How do you think she would like to be confessed to? I frowned at two men, arms crossed. Excuse me? Well, you and Jurian are very similar. You're both very straightforward. Confess to the princess? My eyes moved to Claude, but only fleetingly before they were once again on Garland. You just need to do something simple, Garland. Something that will not rub her the wrong way. A maiden's heart is ever fragile, and each woman is different. Claude is wearing an amused smile on his face, but he is looking at me, not Garland. I feel my face flush and have to look away. Lisette, you're tomato red again. It's adorable. Blech. I crossed my arms over my rapidly beating heart again and forced a scowl on my face. No, I was just thinking about what Garland could do. Something simple, like when Karma kissed my hand. Garland kissing Jurian's hand is probably not a good idea. Maybe you could do what Claude and I did that one day in town. He can buy her some food, and then they can just talk. Garland, have you ever just asked Jurian out for food? Not alone. Jurian is practical, and she always eats at the tavern. She's also always on duty if she's available. I'll take her patrol shift 2 nights from now, Lynn, and tomorrow you can ask her out for a meal. We can make your invite a grand affair. We can drape banners on the walls, or I could give you a rose. That sounds like a terrible idea. I'm offended. I feel like if I did something like that for Jurian, she would get embarrassed and punch me. She would. Sounds like another lady that I know. Which is also kind of true. Clock grins at me, but I just roll my eyes. Jurian, just ask her normally, and then when you are out and alone together, you can confess. She's actually giving him pretty sound advice. And we'll make sure you have the time to do it. I'll purposely come late to practice tomorrow night so you can ask her out for that date. How does that sound? You two really think I can do this? You just have to ask the question. Whatever follows will at least be an answer. Tomorrow night, then. Good man, I'm sure it will go swimmingly. Or I could drown. You won't drown, Garland. Garland excuses himself with a nervous smile before Claude turns to me expectantly with a mischievous grin. Now Lisette will come here early tomorrow and spy on them. The way it just says spy instead of like, I don't know, justifying it. We need to scope out a good spot. Spy on them? Of course, we need to make sure that our efforts pay off. I don't think we should. You don't want to see how it plays out? I merely shake my head, unable to put my emotions into words. For some reason, I imagine myself in Jurian's position. It feels too personal. Claude's likeliness suddenly springs to mind, and I feel my face grow hot again. Lisette, you've been oddly out of it today. Claude reaches out a hand toward me, then abruptly pulls away. I stare as he smiles at me, almost sheepishly. The conversation between us dies, and we return to the Martian. Days passed, and though I did not spy on the conversation between Jurian and Garland, I noticed that Garland has been smiling from ear to ear during his practice of Claude recently. I can only assume that his confession went well. Claude took the patrol shift tonight, and as I lie in bed, I am restless. Every time I watch Claude practice with Jurian and Garland, I am reminded of the palace of Fritz. I wonder how Fritz's doing. Is he still practicing with the other knights? My thoughts darken as I recall the kidnappings. Claude had to save me every single time. He got injured saving me. Unable to sleep, I slip out of bed and make my way to the reception room. The night air is cool and no one stops me from standing just outside the Martian. I cannot just sit back and do nothing anymore. I have to act. I do not want Claude to get hurt because of me again. Eventually I see Claude approach. He looks tired and is moving more slowly than usual, but when he sees me his lips quirk into a smile. Lucette, what are you doing out here tonight, love? Love, instead of darling. That's new. Hello, Claude. His face is stark red again. If you're using my real name, I suppose you've come to ask for something serious. How could I know that? I do need to ask something for you, of you. Well, if you need a shoulder to cry on, right here, love. What? Oh, is this not about— never mind. I'm asking if you will be my instructor. For some reason, I seem to have caught Claude off guard. He stares at me for a few moments. What? I want to learn how to use a sword, and I want you to be my instructor. Claude's expression becomes uncharacteristically serious. I'd rather you didn't learn how to use a sword. I do not want you to have to keep protecting me. I don't mind protecting you. I do. Claude sighs and shakes his head. Princesses shouldn't be using swords. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. You are. I do not want you to get hurt again when I could do something about it. Teach me, please. Claude. Once again he flushes. It seems to be an instant reaction, and it's both amusing and endearing. It won't be easy. I wasn't expecting it to be. Claude stares at me for a long time before finally letting out a heavy sigh. Fine, I'll train you. You won't learn in a day, but I can teach you the essentials. You can use one of the knight's trading swords. Thank you. Music to my ears. Meet me in the clearing in 10 minutes. 10 minutes? What? You said you wanted to train, so we will. Don't expect me to go easy on you. But aren't you tired? You looked exhausted when you came in, and now he wants to train. Are you trying to get out of training? I am not. Claude shakes his head now, but he is smiling. I'll see you there in a few minutes, love. Blech. Moonlight spills through the leaves, illuminating the forest of gentle light. Long minutes pass, and as I stand in the clearing, I begin to feel restless. It isn't like Claude to be late. Is he tending to his injury? I hear a rustling in the leaves and turn immediately to see what the disturbance is, but the minute I do, I am pulled back by a strong force and my world goes dark. Are we being kidnapped again? Oh, nope. Before I can scream, I hear a gentle voice in my ears. Lesson 1, Lucette. When apprehended by an enemy that you can't see, remain calm and use your 5 senses to judge how best to get the upper hand. This voice is coming from right behind me. I don't know why I think that I find the CG so funny. I don't know. God. I've become aware that this is the closest he's ever been to me with my back pressed to his chest like this. Panicking disorients the mind. That is why you must remain cool under any circumstance. How could I not panic? Any normal person would panic. She's right. Still, I try to force myself to be calm. Lesson 2. Enemies will often let down their guards when they think they have the upper hand. Catch your opponent off guard by remaining calm and locating this weakness of your senses. I try to calm myself as Claude instructs, and I feel it is a bit easier, but only because I know it is Claude. An opening. I move as quickly as I can, stepping forward so I can swing an elbow back at Claude's stomach. Before that happens, Claude has pulled me back to him, closing whatever distance I had put between us. In the process, he moves his hand from my eyes to my mouth. Bite him, or something. I can once again see the forest, but my words are muffled beneath his hand. Another thing to remember, you won't always be able to catch your enemy off guard by throwing punches or hits at them. Your opponent will usually always be stronger than you, is that? Remember what I said about a weakness. Enemies will often let their guards down when they believe they are winning. Just like I have. An opening? A thought occurs to me as I glance around me and then down at Karma's bandaged hand. Karma's bandaged hands are my mouth. Is this an opportunity or a trick? What will you do, princess? What kind of tactic would remove you from my grasp? Do we really have to? It seems mean. It seems mean to bite his hand. It seems mean. Oh, fine. I'm going to feel terrible about this, but I have to try. Yep. I am going to feel terrible about this. I try to shift my head again, enough space to bite down, and even Claude cannot hold me completely still as I squirm. Eventually, the hand around my mouth moves just enough for me to open my mouth, but I falter. I cannot bite the hand I injured. Oh, there we go. Unable to do anything else, I immediately shake my head and I hear Claude groan. In one swift motion, he pushes me down to the ground, pinning my hands by my head as he frowns at me. You're not even going to try and find an opening? I glare at him. I'm not going to bite your hand. Bite my hand? I didn't even think of that. But you made it obvious. You put your hand over my mouth. I meant for you to try moving my hand. Pushing back a person's thumb usually causes their grip to loosen. How was I supposed to know that? Experience is the best means of practice, as they say. I have a complaint about that particular lesson, but I withheld it. That was a pretty good attempt, love, but not good enough, I'm afraid. I wasn't expecting you to come at me like that. I was expecting sword practice. You weren't expecting a man to kidnap you in the alleyway, were you? I glare up at him, unable to say anything because he is right. You're oddly quiet. It is hard to find an opening to hurt you when you're not really my enemy. He does not move, but continues to stare at me. His face is close to mine. Close enough to what exactly, Lizette? Close enough to what? Lizette, do you trust me to protect you? That's not the point. I need to be able to protect myself. Because you're planning on investigating the witches on your own? No, I want to be able to protect myself because I do not want you getting hurt protecting me. Claude leans down. I can feel his hair at my cheek. For a few moments, everything slows to a stop, and all I can hear is my heartbeat and his slow breathing. Once you set your mind to something, you don't let go, do you? Claude pulls away from me before I can respond, and he's standing again, offering me a hand. Let's get started with some sword work, then. The pleasant smile is back on his face. I can never tell what he's thinking at times like these. What are you really like, Claude? Chapter 7, Thorny Rose. When I returned to the Martian lair that night, my hands are scratched and I think I might have bruises on my arms. Claude was not joking when he said he would not go easy on me. But he did compliment me more than once. No said, I've hit you quite a few times and you haven't uttered a single complaint. Complaint? Impressive. Crying is for the weak. Though everyone should be sleeping, I notice that the light is still on at the tavern. I see Jury and Garland up and at a table, speaking of each other and laughing. If Claude had come back with me, he would be happy to see this. You two are still up? They're not even surprised when they turn to face me. Good days like this are even better when stretched. I haven't been off duty in a long time. Did you both have a good time tonight? It was great. Garland knows these little places in the town that I've never even heard of before. I noticed that Jury is more energetic than usual, her smile a lot wider than normal. I wonder if she's drunk. I'm going to get another drink. Another drink? Garland leans in toward me, its voice hushed. We already bought a replacement bottle when we were out today. We would never take anything from the Martian without money. Right. Is Durian drunk? Oh, no, princess. Tipsy. It's like a buzz. Fades a lot quicker. Oh. Garland and I watch Durian as she refills her glass at the bar. I have to thank you, princess. I could never have asked her out if you and Karma had insisted on it. So you told her? Garland looks at me with a pleased smile. I'll take that as a yes. She didn't really realize until much later. I just asked her out for food and she thought that's all it was. Maybe Durian really did need to be told bluntly. What happened? I, told her. And he's so cute! We talked and I remembered old times. He sounds like an old man. And I held her hand. I noticed Garden flinch ever so slightly, but he is smiling. He looks pleased with himself. And the night's not over yet, so... He trails off with a hopeful smile before he raises his eyebrows at me. What about you and Karma? What about us? I've asked him to train me. Train? Princess, you've asked him to teach you how to use a sword? What's this? Our princess is going to pick up a sword? Jurian turns to the table, but I'm too tired to properly join in the conversation. I shall leave them to their conversation and head to bed. I need to get some rest if I want to start practicing at night. I excuse myself to head upstairs. I'm startled awake by an excruciating bright light. It is momentary, and when it is over, I'm sitting in my bed, dazed and confused. My eyes burn. My hand flies to the pendant around my neck, where I see the second glass slipper with another piece. Hooray! Will we still have gone another piece if Garland didn't succeed in confessing? I mean, like, he confessed, but Jurian didn't feel the same. Would we still have that piece? Would it still be a good deed? There's another piece, but wouldn't I do another good deed? I grasp the necklace tightly in my hands and make my way to the tavern. Everyone's doing their pre-morning chores when I get to the tavern area. I notice Karma glaring off into space, and then not far from him the two knights. They haven't been up all night, have they? I make my way slowly over to them. Even back then, you were like some kind of shadow, weren't you? You don't have to hide it. It was obvious you were telling me back then. It was only because I was worried about you. I realized you really didn't have to follow me, Lan, but I'm glad you did. Lan? I was about to comment. Jurian. Oh shush, Frisk used to call you that too. Lan is Garn's childhood nickname. He still gets embarrassed when I call him that. I see. So what are you two talking about? Oh, we were just reminiscing. I look at the two of them critically for a few moments, waiting for them to say something. They both exchange a glance before looking at me, confused. Well? Well, what? How did your date go last night? Garden makes a sound and turns beet red. Jurian's eyebrows quirk and then she laughs. Oh, that. It went well. So well, in fact, that you can see that the two of us are still very much enjoying each other's company. Jurian is usually busy taking her rounds around the Martian with a scowl on her face. She looks happier being here with Garland, more relaxed. You might even say that we're dating. Isn't it funny how red he gets, Princess? You were blushing just as much yesterday when I... One more word, Lan, I swear I'll punch you! The two of them are both blushing now, and the scene is oddly comical. Who knew that the two great knights of the Order of Caldera could be so easily undone? Both of you are amusing to watch. The two of them stare at me, suddenly solemn-faced. I suddenly remember that one conversation knights all had at the castle. They were talking about how they all had personal reasons for being knights, despite the fact that they all served the king. I had always thought Jurian and Garland were stoic and honorable, that their only reason for becoming knights was a sense of justice. Seeing them here, though, about that stoic facade, they feel more like people. My curiosity is piqued. Do you mind if I ask what your reasons were for becoming knights? Oh, my father was a knight. He put his life on the line for this kingdom. Jurian's father was a living legend in his own right, and he had the medals to back it up. My father wasn't around a lot, but I always admired him. Judging by the look on Jurian's face, it is clear to me that she really loves her father. My mother died when I was young, and because my father couldn't be around all the time to take care of me, I ended up practically living with Lan and his family. Lan always got annoyed when I called him my brother. Now I know why. Jurian wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. And then why did he join the Knights, Garland? Because he wanted to watch over me. I never knew you blushed so easily, Garland. Garland seems to blush even harder at that, and Jurian's laughter becomes infectious. I feel amusement begin to bubble up as I watch the two of them. But a cold voice cuts through the laughter and atmosphere like a hot blade through ice. Could you keep it down over here? Oh my god. I turn and see that Claude's eyes, normally so warm, are cold. His usual smile is gone in place of a deep scowl. Oh, we're sorry. He's still glaring at the two of them. Oh, I can tell him about the necklace. Karma. I got another piece to my necklace. Another good deed. Claude turns his gaze to me, but the frown doesn't disappear. That's nice, darling. His voice is calm, but flat and lacks any enthusiasm. That felt lackluster. And oddly disappointing. A good deed. Congratulations, princess. You're close to breaking your curse. What did you get the good deed for? I am not sure, actually. Maybe it was for helping Lan confess? I hear you and Karma went out of your way to help make it happen. That happened yesterday, though. Maybe the magic was waiting to see what became of Garland and I? Claude makes a dismissive hand gesture from his table, frowning. If you two insist on being so affectionate, you should get a room. Affectionate? Jurian's smile has faded away into a dangerous scowl, where Garland looks confused. Jurian looks notably irritated. The shadow is still there on his face. Claude does not look okay at all. No kidding. Scold him. It doesn't matter if something's bothering him. It isn't like him to be so rude. Irritation is no excuse for rudeness. Fine, I apologize. Happy? He looks at me for a few moments, his expression twisted into a defiant scowl, but it doesn't hold long. Moments later, his expression softens and he looks away, almost in shame. I'm sorry. This apology sounds real. But still, why do I feel so disappointed? So disappointed? Silence descends for a few moments before Claude abruptly stands up from its table. Excuse me. Claude turns briskly and heads upstairs, leaving me with the two knights. I wonder what's wrong with him. You think we've been running him too thin because of practice? I do not think it's you two. I get the feeling that Claude holds himself back from saying what he means sometimes. Sometimes he acts strange, distant. And recently he's getting more and more moody. Princess? I look over at Annis, who is smiling apologetically. Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Broom is getting kind of restless. Time to sleep, I suppose. Well, maybe cleaning will help get my mind off of things. The rest of the day goes by slowly. I'm stuck cleaning most of the day, and then serving later. At one point, I speak with Delora about the knights that had attempted to kidnap me, and she tells me that she and Parfait are meeting later to discuss their suspicions. I still don't understand what her suspicions are when Sir Elcaster cannot possibly know who I am. My hands are sore by the end of the night, but I still feel like I can practice with a sword. I notice that both Jerry and Garn look restless too. Garn eventually leaves for patrol while Jerry remains at a table, looking deep in thought. I do not want to bother her, so I decide to try and find Claude. I go to his room, but find that the door is locked. Karma? Are we training tonight? No answer. My heart sinks. Is he not speaking to me? Did I do something wrong? For days, Claude stayed in his room, only leaving when he had to be on patrol. A few times I saw Parfait go into his room, but she refuses to talk about what is bothering him. I feel so useless. When Claude did appear in the tavern or out in the town, he still had that terrible grimace on his face. Look, I really don't want to talk right now. If you're so frustrated with me, why not just ignore me? No, I'm not going to train tonight. I'm not in the right state of mind. I don't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone. Please. I'm really beginning to worry about him. Today I'm in town running errands of Waltz for Parfait. It has been almost a week since Claude started acting so strangely, so I thought I needed to do something for him. I know he likes dresses, and he told me once that he likes roses, but can I really find something that would cheer him up? Perhaps he would like some jewelry. Waltz, do you remember where that jewelry store called Karma is? I don't go there very often, so unfortunately, no. Princess, is this a good deed? What you're doing right now, did you think it would be a good deed? Good deeds need to be selfless. Right? Generally, yes. I doubt this will count as selfless. I'm doing this to cheer Karma up. That sounds pretty selfless. But it's also so that he goes back to teaching me how to fight instead of sulking in his room. I've heard that Karma has been teaching you how to use a sword. Why do you want to learn how to fight? Because I want to be able to protect myself, and it's not like I can use magic. At least sword fighting gives me an advantage. I'm sorry, Princess. I wish I could teach you magic, but it doesn't work when you're under a curse. But on your 18th birthday, when you become the Cinderella bearer, you'll be able to use magic. I'll instruct you if you want me to. That would be nice. But that does not solve my current problem. What would cheer Claude up? Watts starts chuckling beside me, and I turn to look at him, confused. Karma is important to you, isn't he? He's my partner, and he's helped me. He has also been patient with me and smiled even when I've said some really inconsiderate things to him. I'm glad, Princess, that he's your friend. My friend. Claude does not feel like a friend. He feels like something else. Oh, Princess, is this the one you were searching for? Watts points to a peddler sporting different kinds of jewelry, and I instantly make my way toward it. There are all kinds of glittering things displayed, and for a few moments I feel myself drawn to everything. And I know the price tags. I barely have any money left from when the king gave me that pouch. I cannot afford any of this. Maybe we should do our errands first, and then look for a gift. Maybe we'll find something as we look through the stores. But if I don't get Claude's gift today, I may not be able to give it to him tonight. Princess? Let's run the errands first. Watts has a good point. We might find something while we do the errands, and then we can get them out of the way. Yeah, 2 birds with 1 stone, if we actually do find a gift for Claude. Besides, it's not right for me to put Claude above everyone else. That's so true. We spend a few hours gathering the supplies needed for the tavern, and only then do we start looking again for Claude's gift. Princess, I can hold more of those bags for you. It's fine, I'm used to carrying lots of bags. Does Karma make you carry them around? Princess, you should really tell him off. He does a lot of other things for me, but next time I think I will. So long as he gets out of his room sometime soon. I really hope he does. Hey, Princess. But now our problem is finding something that you'll like. What does Claude like? Chameleons, Princess. There's no reason for you to shout. Walsh shakes his head at me, but he's smiling. Let me offer you a deal. A deal? If you help me set up one of my puppet shows, I'll pay you. You earn money from your puppet shows? I get tipped. So what do you say? I won't go easy on you, though. Yes, I'll help you. Why do you seem so surprised? I was just thinking that everyone's right. You've really changed, Princess. Maybe having Karma as a partner really was a good idea. Being partners with Claude may have changed me for the better, but I doubt I had done the same for him. I'm sure Karma would be very happy that you were buying him a gift. Receiving gifts from admirers isn't the same thing as you getting him something. He receives gifts from admirers? For a few moments, I think about the women who chased us in town a few weeks ago, and I feel a little unpleasant stab in my heart. Small things. A man will treat him to a dessert every so often. I saw a lot of it when we did errands together. I always make Karma accept those gifts about killing the man. Killing the man. It's dramatic, but sounds like Karma. He punched Rumple when he asked him to marry him, joke or not. Karma wears his disguise to be convincing, but then gets angry when people fall for it. He is still very much a child. You know how he is. He doesn't like being flirted with. Waltz, do you know anything else about Karma's curse? His curse? He never really talks about it. Claude may be even more stubborn than me if he is not letting anyone help him with his curse. Waltz and I continue our search for a gift. Waltz tells me that I can look for something a bit more expensive and then he'll just put me to work on another day by helping him with his puppets. I return to the jewelry peddler I found earlier. Hello, madam, sir. What can I help you with today? Do you have any sort of rose-shaped jewelry here? The man refers to me to a box full of many different rose-shaped earrings. He then shows me necklaces, and I realize belatedly that it is as if I'm searching for something for Miss Karma, not Claude. My eyes scan the glass, nearly in defeat, before a little rose catches my attention in the back of the display window. It has a chain connected to it, but doesn't seem long enough to be a necklace. What's that one? That's our simple rose pendant, madam. It comes with a chain, but it can also be pinned on the chest. The man takes it out of the display case so I can look at it. Pretty! This is fancy, but not completely flashy. I feel a little click as I press my fingers in the pendant, and I realize that it can also open. Oh yes, it can also put something small inside of it. This is perfect. I look at the price tag, and after making sure that it's not too expensive, I pay the shopkeeper. Watts pays him the additional fee, and then we walk back toward the Martian together. When we return to the Martian, I go to my room to tuck the locket into a drawer before I head to the tavern to finish the rest of my chores. Just as I expected, Claude is not downstairs today either. Jerry and Garland have taken to training with each other, though they seem agitated that Claude is not helping them. At the end of the day, I hurry to my room, where I write a few words on a piece of paper that I put into the locket. A normal rose that weathered, so I offer this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I hold the locket tightly in my hand and start toward Claude's room. Why is my heart beating so fast? I'm just giving him a gift. I pause at Claude's door, remembering the last time I entered his room. I'm sure it's okay if I just go in. I open up the door to Claude's room, which is thankfully not locked, and step inside. Claude is sitting motionless in front of the mirror, shoulders slumped as he stares at his reflection. He's shirtless, and there is that tattoo. It seems different. Claude does not notice me at first. I notice that his hand goes to a tattoo over his chest, and then I hear him heave a heavy sigh. Slowly, I close the door behind me. It clicks, and that's when he suddenly turns to look at me. At first, there is a shock on his face, and then suddenly, anger. What do you mean suddenly? That's to be expected. Again, why do you do this again, Lucette? I came to speak with you. I came to give him something, but I also want to speak with him. I haven't seen Claude in a while. Why? Because you've been doing everything by yourself lately? You came to complain? No, I wanted to check on you. Princess, can you not read the mood? You could have, at the very least, knocked. Oop. In no time at all, Claude suddenly right in front of me, his hands outstretched on either side of me, pinning me to the wall against the door. Cabadon check number 2. Rod also did this. I don't know if everyone does this. His face is so close, his expression is so furious that I cannot even bring myself to think of a way out. The only thing I can do is stare at him levelly. Without getting angry. Without crying. I would not show any weakness. Why? Why aren't you struggling or screaming at me? That's what the Lucette I know would do. That you don't know me as much as you think you do. And you know nothing about me. This is so angsty. I already have a retort prepared when I stop, realizing that he is right. I barely know everything about him. No, I don't, but I like to. Why do you insist on poking your nose into others' business? We're partners. That's the only reason. It has to be. I'm supposed to help you, so why do you keep secrets from me? Help me? His lips quirk, but his smile is sardonic. Claude, I want to help you. In the silence that ascends between us, I find I cannot help but look at Claude's tattoo, at the thorns twirling around the rose. It's beautiful, but it also seems so lethal. When I glance at Claude again, he looks crestfallen, his eyes glittering like he might be on the verge of tears. Secrets are secrets for a reason, Princess. You should know that. If I could speak about them, I would, but I can't, and you bursting into my room without any notice only makes it harder. Harder for what? Princess, you can't imagine what this all feels like. What is he talking about? And that woman, I thought we were meant to be. She was so lovely, her smile as bright as the sun. Claude's eyes are far away. That's why, never again. But then you ruined everything, Lucette. You cut me down like... I pushed my hands against Claude's chest, catching him off guard and forcing him to stumble back. I cannot take any of this. If I ruined everything, then I would just leave. You can have all the time in the world to yourself, Lynn. The locket I bought for him burns in my hand, and I end up throwing it at his feet. Lucette, wait. I ignore him as I run from the room. What was that all about? When I turn to my room and lock my door, I feel too hollow inside for tears. It hurts to breathe when I think of Claude. I eventually manage to fall asleep, but only have snatches of restless dreams when my eyes finally close. Mother, are you and Father in true love, like the fairy tales? I thought I'd forbid you to speak of fairy tales. Have you been reading them? No, Mother. I overheard someone in the palace talking about them today. Then I should have to find that person and make sure you know what inappropriate topic of conversation the palace is. But Mother, the true love in fairy tales sounds so nice. Do you think I can fall in true love of a prince? Dearest one, true love like that does not exist. But the love between a mother and her child is the truest kind. It cannot be replicated by anything else. All other kinds of love is an illusion. My love is all you will ever need. Do you understand me, my heart? Yes, Mother. As much as I don't like Chapter 8, The Lost Prince, as much as I don't like Lucid's mom, my heart is actually a pretty nice nickname for your kid. Not nickname, what would you call it? Pet name? No. Keep your stand straight, princess. Durin gives me the warning, but too late on purpose. I can see a smile on her face as she effortlessly slides past my defenses and taps me on the shoulder with her wooden sword. I got to. Again. For the last few days, I've been practicing with Jurian and Garland because Claude still hasn't come out of his room. The knights offered to train me, and right now they are teaching me about ways to hold a sword. This is slow, but Claude did tell me I wouldn't be able to master his sword so quickly. Claude. He made me so angry that one day that I could not even properly give him my gift. And I still feel sad that he is not here teaching me himself. Come on, princess, focus. I jolt out my reverie and nod at Jurian. Okay. I ready myself for a next strike, and once again get tapped, this time on the hip. Garan takes over at Jurian, and then we do rounds where I try to hit them with certain strikes. They're both good at teaching, but it does not feel the same as Claude's instruction. His lessons seemed less like they were out of a book. Don't worry, princess, it always starts out slow. Lan was just as slow at training, but look at him now. Garland whips his head around Jurian's direction, his face turning deep red. Jurian, that nickname. But you're so much fun to tease, Lan. She beams at him, then laughs at his embarrassed face. Our practice goes on for a few more minutes before the knights tell me to wrap up for the night. I think I'm going to stay out here for a little bit. Princess, you know it's dangerous out here at night. If I don't return in 10 minutes, you can come back and check on me. Jurian seems unconvinced, but she eventually nods. Fine, but keep your guard up, princess. I watch the two knights as they head back. I see Garland put his arm around Jurian's waist, pulling her closer. I turn away from the sight, ignoring the heavy feeling in my stomach. I'll just practice the swings for 5 more minutes. The only thing I hear in the clearing while I practice is my shallow breathing and the wind in my ears. Something breaks my concentration, however. I see a glimmer of color in the forest and I instantly stop, my hands growing tense on the wooden sword. What was that? I glance around at my surroundings and I freeze when I feel a hand on my shoulder. I can feel someone's breath on my neck. This all feels familiar. Is this Claude? I mean, if you can identify him from his breath. Anyway, turn and point your sword at him. I'm pretty sure I recognize Claude's hand, but because I know it's him, I also know what he'd want me to do. Look at her, knowing so much about his mindset. I duck away from his hand, turn quickly to point my sword. The tip of the wood is at his neck, and for a few stunned moments, I think I've won. Even Claude looks surprised. It's really him! But then Claude's hands have moved, and he has one hand on my wrist and the other on my sword. Good, Lucette. You realized you had an opening, but you broke your concentration. Claude removes his hand, allowing me to lower my sword. I'm sorry, Lucette. I feel my breath catch in my throat when Claude holds out the rose pendant that I got for him. I feel my cheeks flush. You accidentally left this beautiful thing in my room when I came to return it. I wouldn't say she accidentally left it when she just threw it on the ground. Return it? Yes, you left in my room, and so I only thought it appropriate to bring it back to you. Does he really think I left it there on accident? Why would I leave it in your room on accident? What? I bought it for you, and I wanted to give it to you, but you were acting so strangely, and... Claude's eyes widened, surprise clear on his face. Lucette, you bought this for me? Why does he look so shocked? Claude looks at me in awe for a few moments. His eyes go back down to the locket. He traces a finger around the intricate shape, his eyebrows slowly furrowing. It's to thank you for everything that you've done for me. Lucette. This is beautiful. He lets the chain fall through his fingers as he stares at the rose pendant for duration. I feel my heartbeat stutter as he turns to regard me with the same gentle smile. He leans forward and my breathing stops as he reaches out to hold up my glass zipper necklace. He's standing so close to me. Yeah. You really are a good person, Lucette. You completed your second good deed. I think some kind of congratulations is in order. Is there anything you want that I can give to you? I look up at him and notice that Claude's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He still looks so sad. I want a hug. I feel like there's so much I want from Claude, but I do not want to ask for something that might make him sad. Huh? Claude looks at me in surprise. He thinks I'm being foolish for making such a request, doesn't he? I shouldn't have said anything. But before I can say anything else, Claude takes a step forward and wraps me in his arms. He pulls me toward him, and in those moments of silence, all I can hear is his heartbeat, resounding in his chest. I can feel his warmth all around me, and his fingers clasp gently at my back. I feel so strange. My heart is racing and my knees feel weak. Something like this. He speaks right into my ear. It is a surprisingly pleasant feeling. Suddenly Claude makes a noise of distress as he steps away from me. All of the warmness that was pressed against me one moment ago is gone. Karma suddenly stops, eyes wide. He puts his hand on his chest and takes a step away from me, his fingers clutching at the fabric of his shirt. Oh no! Claude has a pained expression on his face, only making me more anxious. Not now. Claude, are you okay? What's wrong? Lucette, don't worry about it. He lowers his hand with a pained smile slowly fading from his face. This does little to reassure me. Was it my fault you were locked in your room for so long? He just looks so pained to be anywhere near me. No, most definitely not. I was feeling under the weather. And also bitter. Bitter? Why would he feel bitter? But it's not for you to worry about, darling. For now, we should head back. It's late and you need rest. I just got back from patrol too. I would like to rest as well. Is there anything else I can do for you? No, sweet Lucette. You've already done enough for me. He clutches the rose locket to his chest and sighs out a little with a gentle smile. This smile feels real to me. This is a beautiful gift, and I will treasure it always. Thank you, Lucette. Now, shall we head back? I nod, and we silently walk back to the Martian. When we make it back to the tavern, I feel tired, but also lighter than I have for weeks. Claude wishes me a good night before slowly walking off to his room, holding the rose locket I gave him tightly. Today I'm walking around town to do some errands with Claude. It has been quite a while since we have done this. Though we're here to run errands, there is also something else that drew me into town today. Yesterday, Waltz came back to the Martian and told us of an announcement the king was making today. Apparently that announcement had been posted for at least a week's time, but Waltz had only caught on to it after hearing about it from the crowds after one of his puppet shows. I'm not sure what this announcement entails, but I feel that I need to see the king make it with my own eyes. I can see more people milling about than usual, which means most of them must be waiting for the king to speak. I have a bad feeling about this. It is not strange for the king to make announcements, but this feels so sudden. And with everything else that's happening to me, I feel on edge. Wow, Lucette, you made these bags sound a lot lighter than they'd actually be. Stop complaining, Miss Karma. I get valuable experience out of carrying bags. Seeing Claude complain is amusing, especially since I know he can handle a load. I feel like a servant. What does that make me when you made me carry all those bags before? An assistant? I roll my eyes at him. We're both working at the Martian, you know. And then the thought strikes me. What do you even do at the Martian? Claude looks surprised at my question, but then he quickly smiles at me. I train the knights, of course. It was to attract customers with my beautiful reputation. I started laughing and Claude's face flushes. Darling, I get the feeling you're laughing at me. I wonder... We finish up the rest of our errands and then sit down in the town plaza to rest. Claude leaves briefly and then returns with a slice of cake for both of us to share as a snack. Aww. I have a lot of things I want to ask you, and now feels like the right time to do so. May I ask you a question? Of course, darling, anything. Do you enjoy dressing like a woman? I don't mind it, really. I appreciate the beauty in anything. You girls get to wear quite an assortment of lovely dresses and makeup. It's quite beautiful. I feel more comfortable in my own clothes, but I don't mind dresses. I guess if you had to wear a dress for so long, you'd get used to it. I have another question. And what would that be? When I was in your room the other day, you spoke about a woman. Were you talking about the witch who cursed you? Oh no, the woman I was talking about... He suddenly goes silent and lowers his head. The expression fades into something more melancholy, and I feel my heart lurch. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up. To my surprise, Claude continues talking. Shortly after I came to Angel, there was a woman that I met whose smile was as radiant as sunshine. She was beautiful, and then when she laughed, everything felt right about the world. Hearing him talk about her makes me uncomfortable. Am I jealous? Claude watches me quietly, as if he is measuring my expression. Eventually, he goes back to speaking. I knew her for many months. Time passed, and I thought we were truly in love. And then He goes silent for a few moments, his eyes distant, his expression pained. Well, some things happened, and I realized she only loved me because of my curse. She was drawn to me just as any other woman is. She seems so genuine in comparison to other women, but in the end... Claude trails off and lets out an exasperated sigh. You were truly in love with her? I was. I dated many women, but I've never fallen in love with someone who has honestly loved me back. Phil, and the last person he loved was that one woman. Claude looks at me, and for a few moments he does not speak. Lucette, do you mind if I ask you a question? No, I don't mind. Have you ever loved anyone? My mother, of course. I was referring to romantic kind of love. Romantic kind of love. What does that kind of love feel like? Allow me to enlighten you. He smiles at me, and is surprisingly genuine. It can feel simultaneously like floating and sinking. Your heart stutters and you worry about small things, about offending this other person in some way. You wonder if they'll like what you're wearing, or if they would prefer a sandwich to a casserole when you treat them for dinner. You begin to find beauty in all of the things that they do. Their presence makes you feel complete in a way you had never thought of before. You try to imagine life without that person and find that you cannot. To even consider such a thing is painful, so much so that it feels like it might break your heart. Claude continues talking, but my mind's already whirling. Though he phrases things in the way as those feel unnecessarily dramatic, I feel a tinge of familiarity. The things he's describing, those are the things I feel when I am with him. Before I can say anything, we hear the sound of hooves and the both of us turn. I can see a procession of knights, along with the king on his horse. He normally rides into town like this, but today he's not smiling, and there are way too many knights riding with him. And is that Sir Alcaster? Let's go find a place to stand and watch. As you wish. Claude walks with me into the crowd gathering around the king, and we find a spot to spectate at the very edge closer to the alleyways. My beloved citizens of Angel, I have come before you today to make an important announcement. Ever since I was given this crown, I have sworn to live my life for the people, and to rule in all fairness, so that our kingdom can enjoy great peace. The crowd breaks into applause. I stare at the king, in an easy feeling in my stomach when I notice that there is sadness in his eyes, though he is smiling. I know Sir Alcaster appears to be hiding a smile. I do not like where this is going. The king's speech goes on for long minutes after that, with him detailing commitments he made, the goals he set, and finally his love for the people. The audience around us claps and cheers, but Claude and I are silent. Something is not right. I nod in response. To this day I keep this promise. I will never break this oath, for it is the foundation on which I rule. The audience claps again, but I am silent, watching the king intently. Unfortunately, the unwelcome news I bring to you today gives me reason to hand this foundation over to someone else. I have fallen terminally ill. The king's proclamation is met with shocked and angry chattering from the audience. I cannot hear anything that is being said over the cacophony of voices, but I know the audience is dissenting. I stiffen as I stare at the king. He is lying. I can tell by the firm set of his jaw and the way his eyes flicker across the crowd faster than they ought to. The king has lied to me so many times before that I can recognize when he does it. I know that this unfortunate news must come as a shock, but this is an illness for which there is no current cure. As for the question of my successor, he trails off for a few moments, and I think I see something in his eyes that hits at urgency, but I am not sure why. Crown Princess Emmeline is unmarried and still too young to rule on her own. I feel a pang of irritation and confusion. Another lie, Emmeline could rule just fine with the help of Sir Mefros and the others. After much thought, I have come to the conclusion that our kingdom, which still continues to face danger from the witches, is best put in the capable hands of the commander of the Order of Caldera, Sir Alcaster. What? I cannot hide my shock. The rest of the audience reacts similarly. Their sudden outburst is a testament to their confusion. While I would be providing support and assistance from those sidelines, I cannot in all good grace continue to wear this crown when I know I cannot serve my people as they deserve. Simply put, I believe that the witches have gained more power in the recent months, and that Sir Alcaster is best suited to deal with these conflicts. The fairy tale curse runs more rampant these days, and there have been more reports of incidents involving magic. The murmuring continues, except now the townsfolk sound panicked. This cannot be true. I do not miss the reluctance in the king's next words. Sir Alcaster has also suggested a number of remedies to our laws, especially concerning our security and work hours. I believe that Sir Alcaster can better rule his country in these turbulent times. Please show him all the love and loyalty you have shown me. That bastard! Claude has a foul expression on his face, and his words feel heavy even in a low whisper. I know the king. He takes every duty upon himself, and he would never hand his crown to someone else. Once Sir Alcaster comes to stand on the podium, he silences them with a glare. Citizens of Angel, I swear to you that I will serve you as well as Gennaro has. That being said, I also believe some changes will need to be made. Sir Alcaster continues to speak. He mentions things like curfews for safety, extended work hours, and additional curfews and extended work hours? Additional tasks to go toward the nights, but I'm slowly beginning to block out the drone of his voice. What is going on? Alcaster must have done something to force the king into this charade. The king stands behind Alcaster with his hands clasped, his eyes alert, but there is a helplessness to him that I have never seen before. It isn't long before the crowd's unsouled murmuring becomes agitated and whispering. I'm stunned when Claude cups his hand to his mouth and starts shouting, "There's only one king! King Gennaro!" Claude grips my hand and starts leading me around the outskirts so that people cannot spot him as he continues to shout. The crowd begins to chant along with Claude, and then they draw nearer to the stage where my father and Alcaster are standing. "There is only one king, King Gennaro! There is only one king." I don't know how this is going, how this is being chanted, but anyway, let's go, Lizette. The crowd is right next to the platform now, and the chant carries on. Claude pulls me behind him, but my mind's on my father and on his desperate eyes. Hours later, the Martian's tavern is chaotic. People are talking over each other, trying to relay the scene that they saw in town today. Every visitor here is talking about what they witnessed. I have been in the corner of the room this entire time, trying to understand everyone, but failing. Delora and Parfait are not here to calm all of this chaos. "Hey, Princess, how are you feeling?" I almost jump when I hear Rumpel's voice. Surprised, I can feel when a damsel is in distress, milady. I am really not in the mood for your flirting, Rumpel. Oh, my apologies. I thought you might have wanted some cheering up. Where's your partner? He went out to town to survey the situation. Karma doesn't do anything around the tavern, but he does a whole lot for you, doesn't he? I suppose that's the least a man in love can do. I feel myself blush. What is Rumpel going on about? Princess, you're pink. I am not. My mind feels all scrambled now. This is all Rumpel's fault. Thankfully, before Rumpel can continue talking, the door opens, and Delora walks inside to call all the Martian boys into the reception room. When I step into the reception room, I'm surprised to see two familiar figures standing beside Parfait. Emmeline and Rod. Both of them look downtrodden and discouraged. Everyone is noticeably shocked as they step inside. The prince and princess, where did they come from? What is happening at the palace? What of Queen Ophelia? We need silence in the room, everyone. Delora raises her voice, effectively causing everyone to pause. She glances at Parfait, who nods and then turns to look at Rod and Emmeline. Princess Emmeline, if you would tell everyone what you told Delora and I. The room is unnaturally quiet as Emmeline begins a story. She starts with the events of 1 week ago. In the middle of a family dinner, Alcaster burst in with soldiers and seized her, Rod, and Ophelia in front of the king. Sir Alcaster said that if the king didn't hand over his crown, he would kill us. We had no idea a coup would be staged. The three of them were taken down to the prison cells, with Ophelia taken to a separate cell. Sir Fitzgerald helped us escape, but only just barely. Fritz, are you openly disobeying your father? I hope that he is safe. Alcaster wanted to kill the king. I'm sure that he still will. But he has no reason to. The king has already handed over his crown. I speak before even realizing. Everyone stares at me, including Rod and Emmeline. Alcaster is a foul man. I only think he usurped the throne now without violence because he wants less resistance from the people. He never spoke up to my father before. Did you just say father? It's a long story, Emmeline looks between Rod and I, her expression confused. You know each other? We do. Emmeline looks like she wants to say something, but she remains silent. Our mother is still inside the palace. We need to save her somehow, and Sir Fitzgerald. What happened to Fritz? We don't know. He hoped to escape, but we were spotted at the last minute. He told us to run ahead and leave him behind. We didn't see him again after that, and we couldn't just wait, so Rod brought me here. Right now, we need to piece together the situation as quickly as we can, and then we need to figure out a way to save the king. I knew Alcaster was up to something, but I never thought it would escalate into this. Jurian, what do you know about this? Garland and I weren't stripped of our toes because we disobeyed Alcaster's orders. It was because we overheard Alcaster plotting something and tried to tell the king of its plot. We gave him a warning, but the king did not believe us, not if Alcaster rose whispering in his ears. The king didn't think Alcaster was possible of such a betrayal. He thought we were trying to turn him against Alcaster for our own gain. And so Alcaster stripped us of our titles and banished us from the palace. Lady Parfait found us, and while we were happy to help out at the tavern, we also intended to eventually do something about the mess in the palace. So Alcaster has been planning to do this all this time? When we part for the night, Parfait and Delora take Rod and Emmeline to a room that they can share. It has been decided that they will be harbored here at the Martian, a place that Emmeline apparently knew about but never came to because she wasn't cursed. Well, Rod did say that his family knew he was cursed. I noticed Emmeline looking at me many times throughout the night, but she never asked me anything. The next few days are a muddled mess. Everyone is busy trying to find out what happened and what can be done to help the king. I'm sweeping the tavern half-heartedly one day, my thoughts on everything but my chores. Everyone's been trying to do something to help out the last few days. Though I've gone on quite a few trips into town with Quad to search for information, I haven't been able to find much. I feel so useless. I'm finally on my break, so I decided to go into the reception room to rest. When I step inside, I notice Emmeline sitting on the couch. She waves me over as soon as she sees me. She hasn't really openly spoken to me since she has been here. Parfait and Delora have been trying to hide her so as to not cause a ruckus in the Martian. Rumors are dangerous now. You're Lucette, right? Yes. Rod told me about your curse. He said that you're the king's blood daughter. I'm really sorry. I'm shocked by Emily's sudden outburst. What? I didn't mean to, but I took your place. How could I forget my own sister? We're not blood related. That doesn't matter. I will love you regardless. Emmeline was always trying to take me out and do things with me back when I was still in the palace. I distanced myself from her because I thought the king loved her more than he loved me. I still think that maybe he does. You weren't close. I barely spoke to you, or to Rod. Didn't he tell you that? He did. But perhaps now we can turn over a new leaf? Emmeline is as stubborn as always. I have more things to worry about than being her friend. I have to go. I walk out before the conversation can continue. If I hadn't been cursed and remained in the palace, would Sir Alcester have taken me hostage too? The hours tick by, and as the tavern is emptied for the day, Delora calls everyone together to explain what she and Parfait have pieced together about the situation. Alright everyone, we've come upon some new information. The first is that Alcester has cracked down on the riots in town. Anyone seen protesting his rule is thrown in prison. The king always vowed the people's opinions. Alcester does not want opinions. He only wants to rule with an iron fist. Our patrols have shown that there is overall more security in the palace and around the town. They have been charged of keeping people quiet in whatever ways they possibly can. As we heard from the prince and the princess, things are most turbulent in the palace. The king is still alive, but it is unlikely he will stay that way for very long. One thing is clear. Given Alcaster's motives to take over the kingdom, I doubt he will rest until the king is dead. The king's men have turned against him. Even if there are loyal soldiers still left in the palace, we cannot contact them right now. Rescuing the king and queen will be on us, then. We just so happen to have people in his tavern that have a shot at rescuing them. Prince Rod has the king to a secret passage we can use to break into the palace. Secret passageway? But only the king and the commander of the knights had the key to that passage, so how'd they get a copy? Who's going to join us on this mission? Jury and Garin both volunteer immediately, followed shortly by Claude and Watts. I'll go too. The room goes quiet as I step forward and volunteer. Princess, we can't just allow you to put yourself in danger. I look at Claude, who is staring at me, shocked. I took up the sword so I could protect those I care about. Princess, you don't have nearly enough practice. But I can help. I still have time to learn. I agree with Parfait, Princess. The past isn't the place for you to try out your newfound sword skills. The Yamas will chain me up because I refuse to stay here while you all go save the king. Princess. Well, she has been practicing with the rest of us. Don't encourage her, Jurian. But it's not like any of us can stop her anyway. You're right, the princess is quite stubborn. Claude agrees with Jurian, but I can tell that he does not like the idea of me going along with them. If only we had time to get reinforcements from Karma's country. Karma's country? Brigantia. How is it possible that a Brigantian citizen can simply ask for reinforcements? Karma is the crown prince of Brigantia. There is some shuffling in the room as everyone turns to gawk at Claude. Rempel, Annis, Rod, and Evelyn all look shocked by this revelation. You're the lost prince? Lost prince. It sounds like such a tragedy, doesn't it? Annis suddenly looks distressed as she fiddles her thumbs. All this time and I never knew. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. There's no need for formalities, Annis. But I am the lost prince, after all. I keep my lineage a secret because right now I am just a normal commoner. Yeah, I like Watts too. His is my favorite route. But we're still a pretty long way from his route. But you're the prince. Couldn't you still ask for reinforcements? Even if I did ask for reinforcements, I'm pretty sure they would never come in time. Besides, I can't go back to my kingdom yet. He cannot go back while he's still cursed. The conversation continues in a more solemn tone. Eventually, we start speaking of our plan to enter the palace. When the details are all finalized, I repeat everything myself to make certain that I know what is meant to happen. Watts will lead us to the palace. Watts will lead us to the palace then, and Jurian and Garland will follow right behind him, watching for the most immediate enemies. Leave it to us. We'll deal with any resistance before it touches you, princess. And Karma will be watching from the back, along with Delora. A witch and a prince for backup. Delora smiles wryly. Claude rolls his shoulders. I like to think of us as more the closing act. Though if all goes according to plan, we will have no need for either the opening or closing act. It is a small task group, which is better. The smaller the better. The last thing I want is to be noticed. We decide to meet again over the course of the next week to finalize our plan and carefully survey the situation in town before parting. Claude has taken to training me, Jerry and Garland at the same time. Just the other day he had all of us attack him together. Even though I am nowhere near as good as a trained knight, I still managed to hit him once. I feel like things are coming to some sort of conclusion, yet I still haven't done 3 good deeds. Today we finalize our plans for getting into the palace. We have mapped out where the king and Ophelia must be in the prisons, where the guards might be positioned, and how we plan on sneaking in. I sit down on my bed and am about to lay down when I hear something. Hello, love. My, you're red. Were you thinking about me? I noticed that he has one hand on his chest tonight, but then he has been doing that more often lately. I notice it during practices and sometimes when I catch his eyes. Is he sick? Darling? I shake myself at the sound of Claude's voice. What if I was changing? You could have knocked. Well, you didn't seem to have a problem when you walked in on me changing without announcing yourself. That's true. That's different. He strolls inside and steps closer to me. He smiles at me mischievously. Oh, how so? Cat got your tongue? Claude shakes his head, his smile softening. I really didn't mean to come in to disturb you, I just have something important I needed to say to you. Claude kneels in front of me and furrows his eyebrows. I want to insist you reconsider going to the palace with us. As Parfait and Delora have said many times, it will be dangerous. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. I want to do what I can to help everyone. Yes, and that terrifies me. Terrifies you? If your stubbornness leads to you putting your neck out there for someone, I would never forgive myself for your injuries. If you want to help me, stay here, where you'll be safe. I'm not some damsel that needs to be protected. Lizette, all I want is for you to stay safe, so that when we save your father, you can face him with a smile. I won't be able to face my father unless I'm one of the people to save him. Stubborn as always. I sigh, irritation welling up in my stomach at the look on Claude's face. He's calling me stubborn, but he's being stubborn about this. He said I've improved with my sword fighting. You have. You've improved so much because of your resilience and drive, and because you're genuinely interested. It's because I have a good teacher. Oh, your compliment is gentle music to my ears. Your compliments mean a lot to me, Lizette. My eyes fixate on a soft smile at the gentle crinkles at his eyes. Our eyes lock, and for a few moments I'm aware of a slight energy between us. I glance away hurriedly, not entirely sure what would happen if I kept staring at him. My heart beats unsteadily in my chest. Earlier today I comforted your sister when she started crying about things that had happened in the palace. Emmeline, why would you comfort her? Because she was crying! I saw her crying downstairs in the reception room earlier today, without anyone there. She is a rather sweet girl. I keep thinking that the two of you are completely different. You're both strong-willed and stubborn, but she wears her emotions on her sleeve, while you keep it all inside of you. I'm not hiding anything if that's what you are implying. Mother always told me crying was weak. Claude stands up and leans forward. Before I know it, I'm in his arms. Lizette, I'm always here for you. I feel flustered again and my mind feels foggy. I can barely comprehend what's in my mind or in my heart. Thank you. You never need to thank me, Lizette. But you've done so much for me. It's not just the sword fighting, it's your patience, your company. You're saving me when I needed help. Yeah. You're being so disgustingly sweet. That's not true. I'm pretty sure I'm the most selfish person in this tavern. All I ever want is things for myself. I've never thought you were selfish, Claude. He puts a hand to my cheek and looks at me solemnly. You don't think that me wanting you is... Suddenly he steps back, his hand on his chest again, his breathing heavy. I stare at Claude with wide eyes. Claude, are you okay? I'm fine. He sighs out slowly, but he sounds obviously pained. I'll go get Annis. No. I'm fine. I'm fine. I swear it's just a spell of dizziness. But he manages a small, tight-lipped smile before he straightens and shakes his head. His hands are visibly shaking. I must be tired. But Claude, do not tell anyone about this, okay? I don't want them to worry. Why is he always so stubborn? He is obviously in pain. I clench my hands into fists as I frown at him. Why must you always be so secretive? You're keeping something from me, Claude. I'm sorry, Luzette. Claude abruptly leaves the room, leaving me with my fragmented thoughts. Chapter 9, The Rescue. Alright, so before we get into this, yes, let me save. Before we get into this, I think this is a good place to pause, because, let me see, how long have we been streaming? Okay, so we've been streaming for about 3 hours. Yeah, we're about 3 hours now. So I think this is a good place to pause, and we can pick this up again on Saturday, I believe. Yes, the next stream will be on Friday, but on Friday I will be playing Trapped with Jester, which is... what is it? I know it's a visual novel, of course, but it's a pretty short visual novel, I think. And well, I actually completely forgot about what it is. But what it's about. Well, it's about being trapped with a jester. Well, okay, I guess I'll find out on Friday. So yeah, I hope to see you then. And thank you for breaking into the stream, as usual. And for now, goodbye until our next daybreak.